love the West.
I love the West.
I love the West. It's where I belong.
I am proud to be a son of the West.
It is a badge of honour.
Our supporters are the salt of the earth.
They've stuck through thick and thin.
For years and bloody years.
They've gone through a lot of pain.
And suffering.
They spent their whole life dreaming this day would come.
Hoping and praying
that one day we'll win another flag.
We've had to fight to save this club.
89 really tested us.
But those battles have only made us stronger.
When we had to fight to save the club.
That was when the league found out
how tough a Bulldog really is.
When we had our backs to the wall.
That's when we fought hardest.
You've got to be in your 60s to remember the only time the Doggies won the flag.
1954.
I've heard stories of how tough we were.
Ali Sutton, the human tank.
Shop early, avoid the rush, he'd say.
And then there's Teddy.
Dad was everyone's idol. He was big and bold.
And when he shook your hand,
his grip was like a vice.
I could imagine what he'd say to today's team.
Now we've got our backs against the wall, we're going to fight, and we're going to fight hard. It's going to be a do-or-die effort. It's going to be a determined bit. You've got to show me all the guts and all the determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me.
How important is this game?
It's everything to all of us.
The boys have done a fantastic job, but they know the job's only half done.
How will I feel if we win?
Proud.
Proud.
Proud to be a son of the West. And I reckon I'll tell Teddy
that we stuck it right up him.
That we stuck it right up him.
We stuck it right up him.
Teddy, we stuck it right up him.
Well, Bob Murphy, he wrote one of the best articles I've ever written, or ever read, written by a footballer. And he said late in the article, my Bulldogs don't have the market cornered when it comes to romance. Well, they're pretty close to having it cornered. If you don't barrack for the Swans, everyone that is neutral seems to be barracking for one side.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, well, they're the new blood in it. The Swans have been in grand finals recently. They've won grand finals recently. So the Bulldogs haven't been in one for a long time. So clearly, they're everyone's emotional favourite.
Yeah, and you can see the two build-ups with the team. Sydney have been a lot more relaxed. They've been a bit calmer. I think with the Doggies, they're trying to keep their mind off it. They've been trying to keep them up. You saw before, they were doing the old handball. It's not strenuous, but it's just keeping their mind off the game. Just there, they're doing some fast feeds, getting the body ready for intense start to the game.
We've beaten all the others, defied all of the odds. Today, this team of puppies become true bull gods. Well, maybe there's still 2 hours of football. It's been a wonderful fairy tale so far, Hodgie, but still there's got to be another successful chapter to be written.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's what Grand Final Day is all about. You can do all the work, all the hard work up to the Grand Final Day, but you've got to perform today, and we've got so many supporters here waiting for them, and if you listen to the boys, they can't wait to play. You
always take your form into the Grand Final because you obviously have to win the preliminary final to get there, but the Bulldogs beating the Eagles in Perth, and then they beat the Hawthorn here at the MCG, and then they beat the Giants at Spotless. That's really big win. So they're in great September form, even better than they've been for most of the year, I would have thought.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that's the main thing. You've got to go into a grand final. You've got to be match conditions, and the Doggies certainly are.
That's a Virgin Australia flyover. Virgin Australia has been a partner of the AFL for years. 18 teams, there's been 300 flights, almost 500,000 kilometres covered. And Brian Adams, who is the captain up there today, has just reported down. It's a great day for flying, and I guess, Lee, that means beautiful weather for footy.
Well, it looks like the forecast's been accurate. Rainy this morning, but it looks like it's going to be fine and really good conditions this afternoon.
Hodgie, as an experienced campaigner, what can you do to those that haven't played? So the Swans have got 9 grand final debutants. Yep. All of the Dogs are doing it for their first time. What can Bob and what can Matty Suckling do?
I guess they're going to go past and just reiterate what the coach have said. Just make sure they're calm. It's a bit different not playing compared to the Sydney blokes and the senior guys that are playing. They'll be just trying to calm the blokes down, make sure they've got a job to do. It's a lot easier said than done. When you're in there, you can hear the music going, you can hear all the supporters. Your nerves starting to really build up about now.
This ground produces some extraordinary moments, and Leo Barry's handing over to the umpires, umpires Stevic, Meredith and Jeffrey. But Leo Barry in one moment changes not only his life, but all of those Swans supporters in 05.
Well, we could all talk about plans and structures and all those things, but as we know, grand finals have been won by a point. There's been the occasional draw, so 1 or 2 moment can be the thing in the end that makes a difference of whether you win or you lose.
Hodgie, Luke Beveridge, who we saw, he's in the corner of the room just contemplating. He's been to a lot of grand finals before. St Bede's, he was a part of the Hawks outfit. What do you learn from those experiences? I know you're not the main man.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, as a player, Hodgie, I love this moment because you've been waiting all week for this moment to get out on the field and battle with your colleagues, your teammates who've got you there. You trust each other so much. But as a coach, I used to hate it because now you're handing control to the players and you're going to go up the coach's box and in some ways you're only a glorified spectator.
Exactly right. And this is the time where all that calmness goes out the window. This is a time where you start to build up. You see the boys, they're patting each other on the back. They're looking at each other in the eye. It's time to come out and play. Everything you've done throughout the season comes down to this moment. Right from the first bounce, it's all up to you guys now.
This is hair on the back of your neck stuff. In the background, Ted Whitten is inspiring the MCG, that famous three-quarter time speech. You've got to inspire me, son.
I sometimes think, the players are the calmest people in the stadium because they're now going out to do what they're good at. And even though there's the consequences later in the game and there's performance anxiety we talk about, this is their moment.
And this is what grand final's all about. This is where it tests your nerves. You're about to walk out, you're about to look at the race. Your supporters are about to go bananas, and that's going through every one of the Bulldogs players right now.
It is so Colosseum and so gladiatorial. There will be a chart like few other teams have received in recent times.
It's going to go bananas. Here we go.
The last player out was followed by the captain, Bob Murphy. He looked at the banner, he smiled and he turned left. He didn't walk through it.
Tell us about the photo, Hodgie. One click the cameraman's got.
Yeah, it's obviously a different one. Very rarely you run through a banner in a big game. You've got to sit down and have a smile. But they would have spoken to the boys about it. They would have said, don't worry about it. It's part of your preparation. Have the photo and off you go into your standard warm-up.
So you've been well prepared, have you, for what happens now in the next 6 minutes or so? We've still got a national anthem to come.
Yeah, exactly right. They go through at the start of the week. It's going to be a different build-up. You've got to be a bit more flexible with your mindset. There's obviously the photo. You go into a bit of a warm-up. You have the national anthem, and then you've got to wait for the umpires. You've got to shake the umpires' hands, and then game on.
Just remarkable noise, Lee. That was just the Western Bulldogs heading down to the city end, that roar.
Yeah. There's red, white and blue all over the stadium. It's interesting. I mean, obviously they're the new kid on the block. This is all new to them. But the actual Swans team have been to this a couple of times. So the procedure you talk about, Hodgie, which is so different on grand final day because of pre-game entertainment and all those issues, at least the Swans have experienced that routine.
It's that loud down here. You don't know what's going on as a player. They're just trying to go through the normal things. As you said there, half the Doggies boys were smiling as they walked out. So it says they're pretty relaxed. They're ready to play football.
You've given this address before, Hodgie. When do you start thinking about it?
Oh, mate, you start the morning off. You don't want to stuff this one up. Make sure when you get to the game, you're just trying to reiterate what the coach has said. But it's that there. McVeigh's going to be at the start of the bottom of the race, ready to walk up. Just telling the boys it's game on tonight. We've got to make sure that we do everything we can as a team and do what we've done to get ourselves here.
Is there a better feeling than leading your football club up this race, Lee?
No, Hodgie and I have both been fortunate enough to do that. Getting in the cup at the end of the game, Hodgie, that might be better as a captain. But either way, you just have so much respect for your teammates because you've got to the final game. So you've got to have played well enough to get there. So there's this enormous camaraderie within the group.
It's actually right. There's a massive bond for the blokes that play in a grand final. But as the Sydney boys of 2012 know, that bond goes a lot further if you can walk off the MCG with a grand final cup.
Pretending everything's calm. What are you feeling at this point, Lee?
Oh, me, I just love the excitement of it, Havers, even when you're not involved. But when you're involved, sort of going into the unknown, Don Longmire there, as I say, he'll stay out for the national anthem, but it's now a player's game. The guys inside the white line, they're going to win or lose it.
Yeah, exactly right. This is where the build-up is. This is where, as you see, from right now, apart from the national anthem, they're trying to go through the same things they've done the last month.
At this point, you're doing your first warm-up. Are you struggling to breathe, struggling to feel yourself? Is it different to a home and away game, same point in time? Does the mind play tricks on you?
Mate, your whole body does. It's a weird feeling. The heart rate's going. You got the goosebumps on your neck. You're sweating. You just want to go and play football, but you know it's a small step before you get that first bounce, but it's all worth it once that first siren sounds.
That's the great challenge, is it? To concentrate on your KPIs, all the things that you have to do within the game that are really the same every week you play. There's you versus the opposition, but all the noise and all the hype and everything that's gone on during the week, that's that ability to concentrate and focus on what you need to concentrate. That is the challenge that the players have to confront.
Without a doubt, it's that hard on grand final day. With so much going on, it's a tough thing to do.
What do you think, Hodgie, the experience counts for? 9 Swans haven't played in a grand final before. None of the Bulldogs have played in a grand final before.
It all depends on the start. And if Sydney get off to a really good start, it's going to be interesting to see what the Doggies' younger blokes do. They've got a young defence. It all depends on how they start and how they react. I'm pretty sure if the Doggies get off to a good start, the Sydney senior blokes will be able to calm things down and keep them going. But it all depends with the younger Doggies.
Would you think, Hodgie, you'd get your best, from the Bulldogs' point of view, get your best centre square squad in there for the first few minutes?
I think both teams will start it like that. I think on such a big day, you've got to get the ball played in your half the ground. So the more stoppages, the more contested possession you get, and the more inside 50s early is pretty crucial.
Well, it couldn't have been much bigger, the build-up. The preamble is done. The rock stars have played 2 hours of football. It'll change lives is very close. The Swans and the Dogs at the modern Coliseum.
Well, every grand final has a special element to it, but Dennis, you've been to a few, but this has an extra ingredient.
Amazing day, isn't it? So much goodwill for the Western Bulldogs. 1954, a long time ago, but he's still smiling. Is that a smile?
That is a smile. And Lingy, you know all about a drought, don't you, at Geelong?
But you do feel that weight of expectations. It was 44 years for the Cats coming into 2007, 62 years for the Dogs. The players have to push that weight aside now and make sure their focus is on the first minute in particular. That's what matters. That's all they can control.
Yeah, absolutely, Lingy. All about the start. We know the Bulldogs haven't had any players play on this day, but if they get off to a good start, it doesn't matter. All about the first quarter for me in this game.
Well, both these teams had big wins in round one. They were 1 and 2 after the first round. The top 2 teams, that hasn't happened since 1978 that they've played off in the grand final. Let's go down to Craig Willis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Premiership Cup Ambassador Michael O'Loughlin with the 2016 AFL Premiership Cup. And we acknowledge our club legends, Peter Bedford from the Sydney Swans and John Schultz from the Western Bulldogs. May the best team win. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding and join in with Vicar and Linda Bull to sing the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia.
of great voices, terrific respect there. So the build-up continues. Let's go down to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. The field of play with Tim Watson and Matthew Richardson. Richo, they are days that we look forward to so much.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible down there, Bruce. There are so many people here barracking for Western Bulldogs, Timmy. We were just looking around. They're definitely outnumbering the Swans supporter. We know all the neutrals are loving the Doggies today, but this is going to be one of the great grand finals. We've had some ordinary ones in the past. This isn't going to be one today.
Rich, I think it's going to live up to all expectations, particularly looking forward to this first quarter. We know the City Swans are the best starting side in the competition. They've proven that all year. What they've done in the finals has been absolutely magnificent, particularly the last 2 weeks. What are you looking forward to in this first quarter?
Well, we know both the midfields are going to crack in incredibly tough as Easton Wood comes in to toss the coin with Kieran Jack. They are hard, tough midfields. They're going to crack in. Who can get first use of the ball? But I'm looking forward.
Sam, help us out. Kieran, all the best. Okay, Easton, your call, your away team. So heads is the call, and it's heads. Good luck.
So Easton Wood wins the toss, but I'm looking forward, Timmy, to seeing which forward line can take advantage. And we know the Swans have been fast starters. Buddy Franklin, he looks like he is in incredibly ominous form leading into this game. He looks like he is switched on for a big grand final. He averages 3.5 goals in finals. We know we're going to get something out of him. Who's going to bob up down the other end for the Western Bulldogs? It was Clay Smith last week. Will it be Tory Dixon? Can Jake Stringer perform in a grand final? That's what I'm looking forward to. Who can bob up in that Western Bulldogs forward line and provide them the spark? Because I think Franklin will do it down the other end.
Boys, it's going to be a fierce opening first quarter.
No doubt about it. Well done, Richo, and also to Tim. So both these teams played for a 4th time in a final series. We've never had that before in the history of the game. 2 teams with 3 consecutive weeks behind them.
Well, they both played great footy. Well, probably excluding for the Swans their first effort against GWS, but gee, they rebounded from that. The Bulldogs, their form this final series, Doug, has been nothing short of special. To go to Perth, to be able to beat the West Coast Eagles, come back, beat the champs, the Hawks, and then to travel again to Spotless, that is brilliant form.
And this is the best part of a grand final. Before the bounce, there's a million questions going through your mind. Lingy, will I play well? Will I get a kick? How will we start? So many question marks. The players right now just can't wait for the ball to be bounced.
And you almost, in that middle group, the midfielder group, you almost want to seek out body contact. You want to get hit early. You want to get ball in hands, but you want to feel the body contact.
Umpires this afternoon, Stevitt, Meredith and Jeffrey in his first grand final. The other 2 in their 4th. Wait for the opening bounce. The MCG at Cauldron now. It's on the line and away we go. Opening bounce of the game. Naismith taps it down. Thumped out of there by Bontempelli down towards half forward. Smith had it, lost it. Lloyd upended. Parker feeds it back, taken by Laidler. Kicks towards the outer side wing. Johannesson did pretty well. Roughhead wide. Bontempelli another touch. Searing kick to half forward. Bounces off the chest of Boyd. Loose ball. Hanbury emerges with it. Gets a hand pass away to Kennedy. Kennedy up towards the wing. Tippett dropped it. Naismith grabs it. Kicks towards half forward. 50-50 ball. Boyd, 3rd man in. Hand pass to no one in particular. The Giant runs on. Naismith cut down to size. Boyd over the top. Bontempelli. Missed Dalhouse. Loose ball. Hanbury on top, trying to reach in there. Liberatore, Dalhouse didn't have the footy, Bruce.
Do you want to start, Dennis? Advantage again paid. Bontempelli and Kennedy were toe-to-toe in that opener. Morris, Hamling's little kick forward, a little scruffy, not great. Lloyd on the ups, had a wonderful season, a great final series. And McVeigh, good to see him out there. Hot ball for Kennedy. Tahini, clean hands, not surprised with that. Kicks to Jack, twists, turns, gets a free. Hanbury wrong side for him, doesn't matter. Kicks to you-know-who, gets it. He's within range. And just a little too tall for Papley. Didn't go back and went for the big one. Still with Papley, Tippett now in dispute. Ball sneaking out. Johannesson and Liberatore belts it as far as he can.
Bounces on the wing. Favours Dixon. Lloyd goes in after it. Bumped off it. And Smith is dragged down. Well, what do you do? Take a shot if you're Franklin, or do you pass it?
Oh, I think he should have gone back and had a shot. He had the distance, but he's been doing that well. His field kicking has been superb. But what about the tackling? What about the start? Players not a second to get rid of it.
It's a great start. Roughhead having a good start too. Kicks it down towards full forward. Laidler stood his ground. Gets a free kick.
Thank you.
He was paid the mark, but they were bearing down. He was taken high. Doesn't matter. Probably does to him. Smith, Lloyd. Back end of the season, very good for this man. He's up from the back pocket.
Looks like Hamling is going to take Franklin, boys.
High ball to the wing then. Rowan's in front. Morris took a swipe at it, missed it, finds it close to the boundary, feeds it forward. Little 1-2 with Pickin. Over the top, this is Smith. Great game last week. Back to Pickin. Pickin runs, has a bounce. He's at 50. Open goal square. Kicks to it. Getting back is Heaney. All the time in the world, Grundy.
Has a little time himself. Wants Hanbury. Asks a bit of him. So 2 young left footers here. He turns liver. Naismith getting a bit of the ball early like Roughhead, his opposite. So just for one moment we catch our breath. McVeigh's kick's good. McGlynn. Stories everywhere in this match, aren't they? This is one of them. McGlynn, neat. Patley. Second time he's gone from mark and hasn't quite got it. McVeigh from Naismith. Again McVeigh with that neat kicking style. Franklin burst the pack, couldn't quite. Hamling, Wood, Bontempelli getting a lot of it early. Careful kick, good one. Johannesson takes the mark at centre wing.
And a fine season. Johannesson spots a man in the middle. Roughhead. Dalhouse searching run to space. Stringer knocked away by Rampy, arriving quickly. Smith couldn't reel it in. Laidler laid it off then. Grundy, dangerous pass. Smith has got it. What a bright start. Both sides having their moments.
It's like a game of pinball, isn't it?
It is. There's basically no stoppages at all, and all of the players right now, their lungs are bursting. Their legs would feel like lead weights. They probably just want a little break in play.
Kennedy to Lloyd to centre wing. Well done, Tippett. Did a great job. Rowan on the up, can't quite.
Holding the ball, incorrect disposal.
So Boyd, only Brad Johnson's played in more finals. Nobody at the Bulldogs has played in more winning finals than Boyd. On centre wing. A down the line kick. To Grundy. Good strong mark.
They're big marks, those ones. Contested marks down the line. If you can mark those, it really sets you up from half-back. They get a little breather now. A couple of stop plays.
So the veteran with a high kick towards the wing. Big pack at the drop. And that's a terrific mark in that back by Roughhead. Hasn't he started well? He's seen things pretty well.
Dennis Mills is onto the ground for the first time. Let's see how he goes for that hamstring.
So Roughhead unloads again, back towards the attacking 50. Laidler bundled out of it. Grundy kept his poise. McRae, Pickett, Smith, McRae towards the middle. Not a good kick. Onto the chest of Mills, just on the ground. Feeds Jack. Jack kicks it only as far as Biggs, who stopped it effectively and applies a tackle. We'll get a ball up.
Let it go, let it go.
Played a couple of finals with these guys. Just is it Sydney?
Sorry to cut in, but Buddy Franklin is going down into the rooms from the dock. He's taking off his right boot.
Okay, well, that is some story already. So, Biggs through that centre. Johannesson with that run. Kicks it wide. Dixon's a clever player. Can he reel it? And he can't. So, Franklin down in the rooms, Richo.
Yeah, he came off. He started to take his right boot off on the bench. The doc said, no, come down to the rooms. We'll get it off down there. So, an issue with his right foot.
Well, we talked about the start already. A little win for the Bulldogs, given the Swans start the last 2 weeks.
A good point, Duck. Their first 20 minutes this season's been spectacular. And what they've done to the Crows and then the Cats was just awesome, wasn't it?
Bontempelli has started well.
So Josh Kennedy's going with Bontempelli. Not tagging, but at stoppages, 2 strong-bodied midfielders, Bontempelli and Kennedy.
Boyd knocked it down. Stringer's got it. That strength gets out of the tackle, lays it off. Johannesson about 65 metres out, delicately sets it up towards the pocket. Contest came from Roughhead, got it on the ground. Hanbury with class, ran into a dead end. Cordy was waiting for him. The unassuming Cordy gave nothing right there. Watch this.
Let it go.
Gee, that's a big tackle. Dan Hanbury's been on the receiving end of some big tackles on grand final, David. That's as good as I've seen.
Rough it over the top. Lloyd, is that still in play? Johannesson got a bad bounce. It's like bringing down a big buck, wasn't it? There's Hanbury.
Sydney kick. You grabbed his leg. You grabbed it.
Hard to argue with that. Remember that Hanbury mark 4 years ago in the final? The courage he showed against Hawthorn. It was a game changer in a way.
That was the only thing he could grab was the leg.
Yeah, he needed to, I think.
So Naismith, again, a down-the-line kick.
Punch comes from Hamling out wide. McRae on the bounce to Easton Wood. In trouble, Heaney with Richards. McRae, can he find a way out? He usually does. That was brilliant. Gave it to Dalhouse to Hunter. Wonderful smother by Naismith, getting across over the boot. And it ricochets out of bounds.
Well, the tackling, the smothering, the pressure from both teams has been at an optimum level.
Naismith's had as many disposals now that he had in the match last week for the whole game. And he wasn't too bad last week. So a strong start by two ruckmen here from opposite teams. Jones, that was really clever. Gives Lloyd the run. McGlynn. Now, no Franklin forward, as we know for the moment. Rowan got a bad bounce. Morris wraps him up, stops him from running away. Lloyd with an awkward-looking kick to centre half. Oh, Jack with that courage.
Stay clear.
That is one of the most unbelievable marks you'll see in a grand final.
He knew, Lingy, what was coming.
He knew, he saw what he had to do, and look at this. Oh, well done, Kieran Jack. Superb.
Well, he knew what was coming, and that's exactly what courage is. When you know the consequences and you still go through with the act. He looked around, he said, there's no one else to go for this footy. It's got to be mine, and he made it his own.
The big story down here is Franklin still hasn't reappeared from the doctor's room down the race.
Incredible. So Jack, who's kicked 2 goals in the last 2 grand finals he's played in, so he's been hitting the scoreboard in grand finals. This would be something after that mark. If he could dot this, hooking, and a behind. So Franklin's still in those rooms, and Jack gets the first score of the match, almost 10 minutes of footy.
That took a while, didn't it? Boyd to himself, runs to the pocket, drives it up towards the wing. Boyd to Boyd.
Well, that's been up, dropped the chest mark a few minutes ago. It's a good, strong mark.
And the Dogs are buoyed by seeing Tom Boyd take a mark like that. Not a kick like that, though. Grabbed by Lloyd. It's a bit confusing. Kicks inside the forward 50. It's going to be a free kick to the Bulldogs. Coming away as Boyd once more. Chips it up towards McLean. Juggled attempt at the mark. Arms were taken. He'll get a free kick.
Bulldogs, go through, Rowe. Go through.
McLean was very good in the pulsating last quarter last week, and now he gets 50. A bit of the X factor about McLean.
Jared McVeigh was confused there. He thought it was Jackson McRae's free kick. He threw it to McRae, but it had to go to McLean, so it just wasn't concentrating.
Hasn't this young man made the most of his opportunities? Ling Jong, injured a few weeks ago, gets an opportunity, and his fine start today.
McRae. Is it right half forward? What a buzz around the ground. McRae deftly towards half forward, intended for Picken. Off hands, though. Easy pickings there for Parker. Short ones to Heaney. Heaney's got it, defensive side of the wing. Franklin back at the interchange gates. Richo will have more. There's Jones.
How does he look, Matty?
He's back on the ground and he wants the footy and he's going to get it.
Well, great to have you back, bud. Good kick too. Beautiful kick. So, this young man's been a revelation, hasn't he? High ball, 2 full forward. Heaney in a back. Oh, what a mark, though. Heaney's so good himself, but Clay Smith takes a ripper and gets the ball wide to Hunter. He asks a lot. Jack, maybe in a scoring position, kicks to centre half forward. Oh, yes, Parker's got it. It's almost ambitious by Smith after a great mark, wasn't it? It was always a 50-50 ball to Hunter. Turnover, Jack getting involved again.
Just a little bit of composure there from Kieran Jack, rather than just blazing away for the shot at goal. Hit up one of his teammates for an easier set shot. Smart play by the Swans skipper.
It's been very accurate in front of goal, Parker. 13-4 from set shots this year. He gets the first goal of the 2016 Grand Final. Runner-up in the Brownlow on Monday night. First goal in the Grand Final. It's a good week so far.
Got two of those votes back in round 15 against the Dogs. Back in the middle, Tippett has to wait. Boyd with a run, taps it down. Parker, not finished yet. Gets boot to ball, kicks it towards half forward. Rowan a bit of a fumble. Boyd did well, so did Smith. Picking under the pump. Suddenly, the volume's been turned up by Sydney. And there is Kennedy. The ball slow to release.
Marcus Bontempelli's playing the deepest forward. Dane Rampy picking him up down the other end.
Bulldogs being tested just for the moment. Can they match the tempo?
Holding Parker over the arm.
Well, the umpire, Luke Parker, involved. That's 3 possessions, I think, in a row as he kicks it down towards the pocket. Franklin juggles the mark at the back. Whoops, going the other way. No, it's not.
Well, I thought it might have, Dennis. There was a little bit of a push from Buddy Franklin. I'd like to have a look at whether or not he gave it a big shove in the back or not. Well, it was just a subtle use of the body, but big pack mark. Richo just mentioned he went down the race and got checked out. This would be a huge goal.
I think Buddy thought for a moment they were taking it off him. And he comes. Trying to work it back, not enough. Misses to the near side, so perhaps should have done better, but not always that reliable around goal. This season, though, pretty much.
So Sydney with all the scoring shots now. Layla very good. Belts it forward, almost like a kick. Boundary throwing. Hey, Matty, without putting pressure, what's the theory with Buddy? Have you got, is there any?
Well, the feeling down here from a couple of the medical people who work down on the boundary is that it probably was an ankle gone and probably had it re-strapped, jab, whatever they do down there.
Moving well at the moment. Dalhouse first touch, couldn't get clear. Kennedy, the ball, puts the tackle on.
Okay, stand up.
Chicken.
Right behind you, thanks.
Sydney have upped the ante, haven't they?
Absolutely, you were spot on, Dennis, a moment ago. The volume has been raised. They're pushing hard here, aren't they?
Push, Bulldogs. Let him go, Sid.
Buckley gets a free kick. Chance to settle, comes out wide, but Bulldogs don't play settled football. Dalhouse runs past. They're on the move. McLean's got it. Right half forward. 1-on-1 inside the forward 50. Sydney trying to get their numbers back. McLean to space. Oh, terrific effort by Mills. The youngster back in the team this afternoon. The rising star. One-hander. Goes across the ground. Rampy. In the opposite back pocket. A high ball to the wing and Rowan. Got the sit on Morris. Takes the mark. Good movement out of defence. Rowan wants 50, so do the supporters. Nothing doing. And then the sunshine. We've got sunshine on a cloudy day. Then goes down towards half forward. In front, juggled by Richard. Stolen away by Papley. Papley over the top to Hewitt. The youngster too slow, but then too strong. Hooks it down towards the pocket. Awkward bounce there for Parker. Parker ran into the pack. Daniel goes back behind. Knocks the ball across to Picken. Picken put down, but not before he knocked it to Hamling. Hamling towards the outer side. Loose ball. Will it stay in? Jack can't keep it in. We'll have a throw-in. Richo.
So we've found the incident where we think Buddy Franklin has hurt his ankle. This marking contest here, as you watch Buddy come to ground, he lands on his teammate's foot there and rolls his ankle in. That's not good. When you roll them in, they can be pretty sore. But he is moving freely. They've got him going, but that's where he hurt it.
Kennedy can't get the hands free. Unusual for him. G. Parker's been very good. Handed a lot of the ball. Dalhouse. Boyd. Gets it down that line again. Well done.
Cordy.
Yeah, Cordy did so well, didn't he? And now McLean back to Hunter. Hunter's little kick forward. Kennedy in the right spot. He was able to accelerate there and take the mark in front of Dunkley. And then switches wide. Richards High one, slow one, difficult one to mark. Ball comes to ground, or going to ground though, just at the wrong time. Boyd, he may get a second crack here. Biggs, can they break here, the Dogs? Short, good, Dixon.
Footy guards barracking there for the Bulldogs. Couple of things went their way. Dixon drives it down towards the pocket. Big Pat runs free at the back. Well done again by McLean, liking his game. Smith around the corner. Here's Cordy, got some goals last week. This one well wide, out of bounds in the opposite pocket on the full.
Oh, he had Lucky Hunter on then at the top of the goal square. Needed to have the composure and give by hand or short kick there. Blew a chance, Zane Cordy, with the banana from the boundary.
Mitchell goes as far as he can. Good mark to Morris. Luke Beveridge's words are ringing in our ears. We've had chances early in matches of late and haven't taken them. They need to. Dalhouse. It has been the story of the final so far, hasn't it?
Yep, this is where they've struggled, the Doggies. We know Sydney are the best defence in the competition. Just struggled to find a target. Sydney have got the numbers back now, but Cordy, it's classic case of ambitions mixed up with capabilities.
So Dalhouse kicks to the goal square. Naismith unopposed. That's a disappointing result for the Dogs and a great one for the Swans.
You love that from your ruckman. Stand strong under a high ball in your defence. One grab mark.
Grundy out of the back pocket then. Drives along one short of the wing. Wood got a hand to it close to the boundary. Knocks it across. We'll have a boundary throw in. The third grand final captain for the Bulldogs in their history, Easton Wood. Both these parents outstanding athletes. As the Americans would say, he started on third base.
He's kept going, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The homer today would be so good. Duckley's kicked to full forward, Cordy, and again Grundy. So marks in the back 50 have been impressive for the Swans.
Dominated Sydney.
But don't get through there. Gone. Cordy getting involved left, right and centre here.
1 metre! 1 more metre!
A couple of the youngsters there, a couple of 19-year-olds in the tackle, one on the other.
He's got plenty of room out to his right if he wants it.
He uses a duck and brings it back brilliantly. What a goal!
Well, there's the celebration. He knew that he owed them one after not going to the top of the square to Lockie Hunter. That's a massive goal. They needed to put some scoreboard pressure back on the Swans.
It's taken a while. It's their first score in a grand final since 1961. Naismith doing okay. Knocked it down. Spills wide. McLean goes after it. Went to ground a little too easily. Kennedy under duress. Bontempelli and Smith over the top and will get a ball up. Margin is 2 points approaching quarter time. What a shot that is. Naismith again. First touch. Johannesson taken down. Dalhouse misses the target. McLean back into the congestion. Kennedy. Hurried kick inside the forward 50. Wood committed to the pack and thumped it away. Taken by Boyd. Knew where the help was. Johannesson. Now Dalhouse. Dalhouse whistle. Heard the umpire. So the Bulldogs to get a free kick on the wing. Cordy again. He's bobbing up everywhere.
Jason, that was for you.
Heard the explanation. Liberatore. He's going to spread it. Liberatore. Dangerous. Heaney a chance here. Oh, well done, Wood. Used his courage and a brilliant kick by Hunter to Dixon.
Oh, that's a big risk to go through the corridor, Lingy, but high risk, high reward. The game opens up and they're able to hit a target inside 50.
They just don't stop taking those risks. That's what we've loved about them this final series, and that is a beautiful kick by Lockie Hunter onto the lead of Tory Dixon. Defender's got no chance there. Now, we said how good a set shot he was a couple of weeks ago. He shanked his first one. I wonder if the nerves have calmed down a little bit and he hits this sweet.
He's got a great record in finals, though. He averages 3 goals in every final he's played. It's a good kick. It's a very good kick. How long since they've been in front of the grand final, I wonder?
And this is that ball. Easton Wood, look at that. Came off his man. Knew Buddy was one out. That's a massive spoil. And that's brilliant there, contest. High risk, high reward, through the corridor, made the contest, set up that goal.
Bulldogs by 4 points then. Roughhead on the way down. Liberatore, Bontempelli, chopped off by Hanbury. Loose ball, comes across towards Dixon. He went to ground. Bontempelli goes after this one. The opposite number 4 in the opposite direction. Hanbury, Bontempelli on his knees trying to get out of there and he can't.
This has been a huge couple of minutes for the Bulldogs. The last 2 weeks, the game's been over for Sydney opponents. They've blown them away in the first quarter. The Dogs with the lead, massive.
Jack with a hard ball, gave it to Kennedy. Short one towards half forward and Tippett. Tippett on the line of the square.
Wants to get to Franklin. Buddy there didn't look as if he was moving quite as well. He's still in the contest though. Jones kicks to full forward. Good kick, Rowan. Couldn't quite. Oh, brilliant Morris in the front.
Arms up, Bulldogs. Hey, mate,
He's been doing that for a few years, hasn't he?
Had to stand strong under that one. Oh, well done, Dale Morris. The free kick's there. Dragged the arm down. He's a bit sore from it. Gee, that would give his teammates a lift up.
Just didn't think Franklin looked great a minute ago anyway. See a quarter time. Kick to the wing. Picken kept it in. Oh, boundary throw in now.
Dale Morris just the one Brownlow vote in his career.
Makes an ass of the brown line, doesn't it, really?
It does, and he'd love it, Premiership today, to match that one, wouldn't he?
Yes. McRae was in there, got a hand to it, eventually slapped out wide. Smith goes with Jones. Pretty mundane, really. Just missing it round. We'll have a throw in on the wing. What a game so far. Living up to the hype and the expectations. The MCG packed. October 1. McRae. Picken, wonderful stuff, wonderful understanding of McRae. Now a half volley, Stringer went to ground. McRae follows up, Dalehouse put the head down, tries to give it to Liberatore. Wide to Picken, 55 metres out, heard the umpire. Trying to destroy that one was Rowan, taken in the pack by Jack. Down he went, comes back to Rowan, looks a hand pass over the top. Parker, run down by Morris, just the one Brownlow vote. Kick comes in from Boyd, now it's Laidlaw.
So Laidlaw with a careful kick, but he doesn't quite get Papley. It's been missed a few times. Papley. Woods played some sort of an opening term. That's not a great handball. Dixon held up. Good tackle, McGlynn. Sydney and Hart. What are your eyes telling you? Who's cracking in hardest of the two of them? Is there anything between them or not?
Oh, right now, you just think the Bulldogs just have the edge in and around the stoppages, just starting to win a bit more of the footy, and they're putting Sydney under enormous pressure. They've got no time and space, the Swans.
No, they're doing it well, but can't split them for me yet, Bruce. I think both teams' pressure is outstanding. Both teams' ability to put their heads over the footy and win the contested ball. The second quarter, they'll settle down with their composure, and that will tell us.
Gee, Heaney's kick has drifted and drifted, and the Dogs will kick it back in.
I reckon when the ball hits the ground, though, a loose ball, the Bulldogs are getting more numbers over those loose balls. They look really dangerous when it's bobbling around in space.
Bontempelli with the right peg, if you don't mind, down towards half forward. Is that a push? Apparently not. Roughhead took the mark, plays on immediately, wheeling around vacant goal square apart from Rampy, who gets back, takes the mark, Mills comes away, kicks towards the wing and McGlynn. That's a good mark by him, but not much to go to now. Running hard is Jack. Wonderful hard running. Ball in front of him, bit of a fumble, carries it down towards the 50. Buddy Franklin on the move, lets it bounce, tries a manoeuvre, and he's pushed across the line by Hamling. We'll get a boundary throw in.
Well, that's a big win there for Hamling. Didn't overcommit in the tackle. Stood off, waited, and then was able to put him out of bounds.
He knew he had the boundary line as his friend, didn't he?
Just could not get stepped inside.
Boyd and Tippett. Hanbury working for it on Morris again. Releases Johannesson, and that ball bouncing out for a boundary throw in. Boyd over the top, Stringer, Franklin, Jack, Kennedy, Siren. What an opening term. So Parker got the first, but the Dogs got the next two. And at quarter time, it's the Western Bulldogs by 4 points over the Sydney Swans. Fantastic opening term. Let's go down to Tim and Richo. No, Buddy, Richo.
Yeah, Buddy went straight down the race. As soon as the siren blew, he went back down there again into the medical room beside the interchange bench here. He's still down there, so he's having real issues with that ankle. When you roll them in, they can be really sore. So obviously the doc trying to get him going. He did look uncomfortable. He's just reappeared now.
So we see the incident. And Lee Matthews, Lee, your impressions of the opening term?
Was outstanding, overwhelming the forward flare. So both sides, if you kick the ball long and high into either forward line, the defences of both teams are terrific under the high ball. So precision kicking inside 50 is what's going to be needed if the goal scoring is starting to needs to get going, Bruce.
Still Buddy back on the bench there. About to start the second term. Sydney got the first goal, the Bulldogs the next two, and that's where we stand as we start the second term. The grand final at the MCG, hopefully it's as good as the first. Both ruckmen have been very handy. Naismith, fingertips to it. Roughhead went back after it. Kennedy, 10 possessions now. Biggs trying to force a passage. Well done by Smith. Plucked it away from Jack. Down went Dunkley. Parker out of there. Smith wrenched away by Stringer. Back comes Liberatore. That's a hard football to win. Down goes Mitchell. And a whistle.
What about that? Wow, stick your head in that. You've got to stand strong.
Nothing's changed from the opening term. That's how the match started, hasn't it? So Liberatore does stick his head in and gets it out to centre half forward. Rampion, Mills, McRae having a wonderful final series and a brilliant start to this match. Well done by Stringer, Smith, Hanbury. That was brilliant. Rampy. Talking about having big final series and big seasons. Heaney and Morris. Morris has had a good start to the match. Jones, he couldn't quite corral him. Used Heaney cleverly. They got it to Mitchell. That's very good play by the Swans. Mitchell pushed as he kicked. And the turnover. And Johannisen had more of the ball than anybody in the opening term. Takes the mark.
That was great from Hunter. Just stayed in the contest. Was able to get a hand in just to put pressure on.
Johannisen drives it down towards half forward, then Grundy got his hands to it. Lloyd, hit by Dunkley, spills to Smith. His hand pass goes out of bounds.
Not too many easy balls out there.
Haven't seen one. Margin 4 points, Bulldogs on top. Ruckman lock up, Roughhead directs it this time. Liberatore hard in and under, got a hand pass away. Daniel, almost his first possession there, dragged down right on the numbers by McVeigh. The umpire will do it again.
There hasn't been one clean transition in that whole first quarter from the defensive 50 to forward 50 from either team, and both teams do it well.
Good stuff, Lloyd. McLean. Bontempelli, brilliant sidestep. Kick to full forward. Boyd's got it. Well, he just created Bontempelli there, didn't he?
How good was Liberatore in that back?
Well, he was just able to find a little bit of space, Bontempelli, when there was none.
So how does Boyd work his way through this?
Looks like he's going to run around on the left.
And run around the left, he does, and nails it.
Well, good players just create things. Created time for himself there, Bontempelli. Good use of the body by Tom Boyd, but this is well thought out. Stayed calm in the moment, on the left foot, and he loved it. It's repaying his footy club. It got him here from GWS. Big moment for him.
know the ruckman did much. Hanbury. Naismith goes again. Hanbury a hand pass, but straight to Hunter, who miscues. Kennedy got the arms free. Eventually, that's a brilliant tackle. Umpire let him have it a long time. Bontempelli, who applied that brilliant tackle, goes then and boxes the football. Indignity didn't get the free kick. We're going to ball up. Should have.
Kennedy doesn't know what's going. Gets tackled once, then shrugs that one, and then another one, and another one. They're just everywhere, the Dogs.
Bontempelli up high that time in the role of a ruckman. Pickett, Miss Biggs, taken by Heaney, well done. Slips a hand pass away to Jones. That's a clever kick. Will it get there in time? It does to Jack. Within scoring range. He's directly in front. Man on the mark is 40 metres out. Jack, a co-captain. Best thing to do here, perhaps, is kick a goal.
Absolutely, Dan. Did the right thing, got back off the mark quick, but now you've got to go back and kick the goal.
In he comes. Kieran Jack, never on line, wide left. And the margin, well, it's narrowed, but not as he would have liked.
And they've missed a couple, haven't they? I mean, Jack's missed two, and Franklin missed one as well.
He's missed one to the right and one to the left now, Jack.
Boyd just to himself. Oh, great smother across him, Rowan. And then Boyd in trouble. High tackle. Some pressure released.
Mark's here. Lance! Mark's here, please.
Great stuff by Rowan. He's talked so much this week about his disappointment personally from 2 years ago, where he felt like he had no contribution, 2 disposals only in the first 3 quarters.
Boyd, a high one then. Off hands, Hanbury. Kennedy, Jack, now Smith, set away on his left foot to the back pocket. The defender kick a goal, he can. Straight through the middle if you don't mind.
Hasn't kicked a goal for 3 years. Smith.
Good time to kick it, and it was on the back of a chain of handballs. Really sharp quality hands out of the stoppage from the Swans, and that is a big goal just to bring them back a little bit. The Dogs had the momentum.
Gee, Boyd doing it all in the ruck there, getting right over the top.
Fine. That was well battled, I understand. Straight back, hold the meter.
Tippett just wins it. Jack, Mitchell, and Mitchell on his favourite left side. Good mark though by Roberts. It's great to read about him this week when Luke Beveridge said you're playing. He texted a couple of mates and said I'll be in the team. He kicks to centre wing, gets over the back. Cordy, who had a big input in that opening term. Tippett's tackle was good. Liberatore fished it out. Jones impressive, sidesteps. Eastonwood caught underneath, may get a crack at it, didn't quite. Biggs was good. Back to Morris, they build.
There's Boyd. Slips it away to his skipper. Wood goes short to Dunkley. What a good young player. Just fitted in from the get-go. Towards half forward.
First touch for Caleb Daniel.
Yeah. One of 2 loose men. Good sign. Goes out wide. Here's Hunter. So much of the football normally. Centering ball. Big leap by Dixon. Didn't touch the footy though. Pinballing around in there. Dalhouse had a chance to get it out. Didn't. Smith got it. And immediately claimed by Hewitt. Will get a ball up.
Important for Caleb Daniel to get that touch. It starts playing with your head a little bit if you haven't felt that footy in your hands, so he can settle himself into the game now.
Tippett got over the top of Boyd. Heaney hacks it out as far as he can. Richardson, Roberts. Not a lot of experience between them. Richards shows a clean pair of heels. Kicks the ball to a vacant space. Big should get the bounce. He does. He ran hard. Careful, comfortable kick to Boyd.
Thank you.
All Australian, 34 years of age, oldest player out there. What a season. What a career. He's getting midfield numbers at full back. It's a good kick too. And suddenly, Roberts getting a lot of it early in the second term.
That's a very good kick between 2 Swans onto the chest of Easton Wood.
Move it on. Quiet.
Told to go now. Another high one to half forward. Tippett got a hand to it, knocked it down to Heaney. Well played. Back to Rampy. The pressure comes. Gives a hand pass off. Low down. Kennedy having a fine game. Mitchell. Hanbury, brilliant. Heaney, good tackle, came from Cordy, affected the hand pass. As a result, Dalhouse drives it in. Plenty of space on the forward line, almost a wonderful mark down there. Not paid to Grundy. Grabbed by Dixon. Dixon snapped a beauty. He's got his second.
Was it a mark? Heath Grundy did it all. Tried to take it one-handed, but it probably did come out right at the end there. Didn't have full control. Great snap by Tory Dixon. I just wonder in moments like that, Heath Grundy, can you go two hands there? Maybe I'm asking too much of him.
Liberatore, Dalehouse, two of the stars for the Dogs so far. Gordy launches himself. Dunkley, kick to half forward. Smith, that's a wonderful mark. What about Dixon? He's played in 5 finals now and he's kicked 14 goals. He can hit the scoreboard. Grundy, Rampy. Haven't seen much from Rampy so far. Mills, second time. That's a scoop back by Hunter. Liberatore, this is a chance. It's... Lloyd got back. So have a look at this one. Happy with that?
Yep. There's Mitchell at centre-half back. Liberatore having a game up to 11 possessions. Ball to the outer side. You bet your boots. Nothing easy. Boyd finds McRae. Momentum building for the red, white and blue. Dunkley's got the football. Too far out to score. Roughhead is deep. Will he go in that direction? He does. Roughhead will fly. Thump towards the back in goal square. Peckin with a chance. Runs onto the loose ball. Feeds it back. Hunter. Back to Peckin. Snaps across his body. Don't tell me. Things falling into place for the Bulldogs.
And have a look at this. Hunter over the head. They practice those handballs all week. They've got a club called the Handball Club. They are absolutely brilliant. Best handball team in the game.
I'll tell you what, Sydney defenders are going to have to mark the ball because when it hits the ground down there in that forward 50, they hunted better than anyone.
Right on top for the minute. They've kicked 5 of the last 6. And a wounded Franklin at the other end. Parker had a big opening turn, but he's taken down. Jack did all right. Naismith belts it forward. Can Buddy launch? He comes in late. Well done, Hamling. Hanbury, good side for him if he gets the right bounce. Back to Hewitt, who's been quiet. Kicks good, though, to Mitchell. Calmed down. But this is the Jack territory. It might be just beyond him, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that's out of his range. He wants to pass it off. He's going to have to go back and have a shot now. Tom Mitchell, but gee, this is important. The Bulldogs have got all the momentum right now. They're swarming all over them.
So Mitchell right on 50. He's kicked it well. He's kicked it beautifully.
What a kick by Tom Mitchell. I didn't think he had the distance, but he nailed it beautifully. The leading possession winners on the field, Kennedy and Jack, but then a string of Bulldogs players. That was an important goal. The momentum was all pointing towards the Dogs.
The lead by 10. Roughhead knocked it down. Naismith could have been taken high. Roughhead kept going. Is that in the back? Not according to the umpire. All up. Unforgiving, these centre square situations for both teams. Nothing easy. You pay a price to get a possession. Tossed up. Roughhead. Naismith perhaps won it. Bontempelli had it momentarily. Through the legs there by Hanbury. Down goes Dalhouse. Heaney got him.
Thank you. Thanks,
by Jeffrey. Darts across. Some players envious of their teammates. Fact of life. Jones sends it down towards half forward. Into the shadows. Roberts goes back on his knees. Papley does well. Didn't have the football, Papley. He wins a free kick just outside the 50. So Sydney now starting to flex some muscle.
Almost a professional free, that one.
Short. Well, that's asking a lot of Franklin. Braced himself for contact. Wood didn't step aside. Hanbury goes hard on Wood and took him down. That's in the highlight reel, all of that. The first one from Franklin, and then his teammate Hanbury.
The kick-in was just a little bit too buddy-conscious, though. He had 2 players on him, but when he took it, he just wanted to hit Easton Wood.
Parker gets it forward. Touch play on Rowan. Rowan hasn't heard it. No one's heard it. Now he hears it and goes back and kicks the goal. After all of that, and the Dogs didn't tackle him.
Get the high five and away you go.
That is how loud it is, though. No player heard that.
Dogs by 4 points then. Wide of the pack, it's taken by Jack. Hurriedly down towards half forward. Biggs up, couldn't complete the mark. On the way down, Papley won the bounce to Kennedy, who's been marvellous. Kicks it inside the forward 50 and Hamlin. Backed his judgment. Came up to take the mark. They like to run it. Johannesson comes out wide to a one-on-one. This will be interesting. Dixon leads back in the race. Has the ball close to the boundary line. Goes with his left foot. And another left footer comes up and takes the mark. Well, he is a natural left footer, this one. Rampy drives it back inside the forward 50. They're conscious of Buddy down there. They blocked him. Crumbing it was Roughhead. He was taken down immediately. Trying to get it out. Mitchell did pretty well. Kennedy's kick was blanketed. Goes to Papley. Papley fumbled. Quick thinking enough to get booked the ball, but it runs out of bounds in the pocket.
Richo, how's Franklin moving, do you reckon? Can he be a factor in this match?
Sorry, Bruce, I can't hear this loud. What did you say there?
Is Buddy moving well enough to be a factor in the match?
Well, not at this stage. He's definitely concerned by it.
Hewitt can't break it. Dogs hold it up, but this has been a really good 5 minutes for the Swans.
He hasn't had any separation off his opponent this quarter, that is for sure.
He's labouring. It's just whether he can use that mind of his to find a goal. Heaney, here he is now. The fend off, Jack, Kennedy, good kick, great kick. They're in front. They're back in front.
What the Buddy fend-off does, it draws tacklers to him, which leaves players free on the outside. It was Josh Kennedy on this occasion. Fantastic finish. Geez, been good. 17 disposals, Josh Kennedy. That's his first goal. That is a big first half of footy.
Bounce over the head of Boyd, taken by Kennedy. There he is again. A bull. Naismith across to Mitchell. He's been important too, Mitchell. Down towards half forward. Off hands. Plenty of Swans around the footy. Heady left it behind. Liberatore trying to lift. In there is Smith as well. Hand pass comes from Parker Rowan. Nobody at home except Hamling. Didn't want him, the Swans. Johannesson. The big lead was 16 points. 3 unanswered goals so far for the Swans, though. They've got the last 3 and they're looking on top at least for the moment. Grundy goes out wide. This is Mitchell again. Dangerous. Measures the kick. Heaney starting to feel it as well. 60 metres out from goal. Going back is Rowan towards the goal square. Well, he was going to have the run at that, then he slipped over the top. Dixon falls to Kennedy. Kennedy again! Oh, how about that?
We are witnessing one of the all-time great midfield performances in a half of a grand final. 19 disposals by Josh Kennedy, 2 goals. He has ripped this game back in the Swans' favour.
Well, what he did a fortnight again at the Crows was amazing today. Even a notch-up Boyd, twists and turns. Well done to Pickett. What a first half we're seeing. Johannesson with a run and carry. And not a good delivery. And good mark taken by Grundy. He's catching it well today, isn't he? Short to Hennebury.
Stay out. Just with me.
As Dennis said, the leaders of the Swans, that midfield pack, that rat pack of theirs, have really turned it around here. Here's one of them, Mitchell, just misses Hewitt. Back to Johannesson. He's been prolific. McRae very, very good early. Haven't called Stringer's name too often. Does he get enough on it? He doesn't. And that's a waste. Needed to just bring it back, didn't he?
He haven't called it very often because he's playing on Dane Rampy, one of the best defenders in the game for most of this first half. Dane Rampy's had 7, only the 2 for Stringer.
Stringer's got to find a way to be effective, though, from now. You can't have a bad one, a really bad one.
Tippett marks the McVeigh kick. Sydney now looking irresistible. Hanbury runs the outer side. Papley drives it down towards half forward, reaching back. Biggs does very well. Biggs in the number 24. Worn by one of the Bulldogs' greatest bigs, Gary Dempsey. He'll be looking on this afternoon. Willing his team on. Wood to Biggs again. Drives it. Short at the wing. Jones. He tried to pull out of it late. But Bontempelli gets the free kick. Bontempelli towards the middle. Liberatore so influential early in this term to set up that 16-point lead. The little fella goes across the ground. That is a very dangerous kick. Sometimes you've got to consider who's there. Well, Johannesson was there. Have they played it? Johannesson took the mark over Hanbury. Sometimes you kick it where the opposition have a good player, it doesn't have good results. Lloyd marks the Johannesson kick. The coach not happy with all of that. Lloyd settles things down in the back pocket.
Had a lot of the ball, Johannesson, but his kicking efficiency not great so far today.
And it's exactly that for the Western Bulldogs at the moment. Their efficiency, their composure with ball in hand, just hurting them.
So McVeigh, bit of a floater in the end. Hamling took a chance, did well. Daniel's been quiet. Kennedy anything but he's over 20 now. Hewitt working his way through. Took a long time. Daniel's tackle effective. Bouncing ball. And the Picken sees a roll over. It wasn't that long ago that Picken kicked their 5th goal. And it looked all doggies, didn't it? But what a turnaround it's been.
But Bruce, they need to get Marcus Bontempelli into the game as well. He's only had 6 and 2 this quarter. Hasn't had a clearance. And we know what Kennedy's doing for the opposition.
Tippett tapped it down. As if on cue, Bontempelli. Johannesson behind the pack. Another half forward. Going back is Rampy. Over the top, Grundy. He's had a fine season, Grundy. He's having a fine match.
Yeah, Grundy and Rampy really dominating the air for the Sydney defenders.
Short of the wing. Parker tries to touch it. I don't think he did. Out of bounds on the full. Smith got 4 goals last week. Prons it back infield. Bontempelli touched the ground, so play on's the call. He drives it towards half forward. Dunkley was up, knocked away by Laidler. Liberatore knocked it back inside the 50. McVeigh had other ideas. You see his ball hit under there. That's not the Sheriff. He'll get a ball up right on the 50.
They just can't bomb the ball in the Bulldogs. If they do that, Grundy's marking everything, as is Rampy.
Boyd getting a tap away. Mitchell's hands. Parker, that's a great tackle by Picken. Got him down. McRae. Dixon, very clever. Dixon running backwards. Stringer, can he keep the ball in play? No, he doesn't. That was a more difficult one than the previous. And the Swans again. Well, the Dogs had died for a goal before half-time. I know it's just 8 points, but the last 4 goals of this first half have been Swannies.
Yep, they need a goal, Bruce. As Mitchell has been very good out of the back pocket. Morris in front. Well, too many of them there. Morris goes again. McRae in the opposite direction. Ball rolls out. Liberatore knows one way, and that's under the pack. And there he is with Hanbury over the top.
1 metre, guys. Well battled. Thanks.
Look at those numbers for Josh Kennedy. 20 disposals in half a footy in a grand final. Brilliant.
Mitchell is up to 13. Here's Jones out of the congestion. Hamling leads Franklin, but he is bearing down. Did he take him high? Well, play on's the call. It's in there somewhere. Franklin perhaps could have been rewarded with a free kick. Nothing doing. Up the back, Hanbury off balance. Mitchell does a full circle. Comes back to Hanbury. Hanbury close to the boundary line. Papley. Hanbury again, fattening his stats. Kicks it down towards half forward. And the mark is taken by Daniel. They're under pressure now, the Dogs. Daniel, Johannesson. Now they can work it out. Here's Wood.
The skipper, he's going to go over the top. He works to Hunter. They've got it to Dixon. They probably get it out to Dunkley. Still pressure. Had to kick in a hurry. Do they keep it in? They do. And Smith's kick's pretty good. Down the line. Bontempelli lifting a little. Richo talked about it. He's got options everywhere here. It's a good kick.
Good was that across half-back.
Yeah, they held their nerve on this wing, didn't they?
Once again, their handball.
Within a whisker of perhaps getting the ball turned over. Eventually got it down. Good, strong grab by Boyd. You've got to stand under those still. I know that looks simple, but you know that somebody's coming. Just had to stand there, absorb it. This is a big kick. Every kick today is a big kick.
So Bontempelli to Boyd for the second time today. The first one resulted in a spectacular goal. He gets his second. It's within a kick again.
This kick here is absolutely brilliant. Thought he was taking a little bit too long. Made sure he got far enough off the mark and then hit it hard and low. Had to get there quickly, and it did. Brilliant kick.
Swans led it by 2 points then. Close to half-time in the grand final. Up high, Naismith knocks it forward. Kennedy, quick hands. Jack Surging out of the middle of Swans now. Franklin in the vicinity. Tippett got his hands to it. Hamlin goes after the football. Trying to soccer him off the ground. Franklin. No gap there for Morris. They were waiting for him. Ball up.
I reckon Buddy and Tippett have gone for the same ball a few times inside that forward 50. I just reckon they need to get a little bit more separation, get one-on-one.
Naismith was good there. Jack couldn't quite, but Mitchell can. Yes, he can. There are twos everywhere in this first half. Tim?
14 possessions in this term for Mitchell.
And 70 disposals between Kennedy, Hanbury, Jack and Mitchell. 4 goals as well. That's that star-studded midfield we spoke so much about before the game.
So Kennedy again to full forward, belted away by Hamlin. Hunter on the up. Wood, little kick wide. Stringer, quiet first half. He's lacking in confidence, even that there. And Mills cuts it off. Thinking of Kennedy, we talk about 1961, the last time they were in a grand final. It was his grandfather who coached against them that day. I mean, funny thing, footy.
Boundary throw in. Boyd decisively. Bontempelli couldn't carry the ball. Daniel did though. Dalhouse feeds it back behind. Matthew Boyd, Dalhouse. Hemmed in against the boundary, just jabs it forward. Barely the 15. McGlynn's taken the mark. So McGlynn looks deep. Just over a minute remaining. Very important time in the game. Mitchell. Another possession, 15 for the quarter. Oh, terrific. Hamlin moments ago was at half-back. He's dashed back, conscious of Franklin, and in the process has taken the mark. Matthew Boyd having a good game. Biggs close to the boundary. Not a particularly good kick. In front, Grundy. Going to meet the footy. Heath Grundy has seen it all. What a fine player he's been. Drives it inside the 50. Missed by Kennedy, almost the one-handed mark. Dragged down. Weight of numbers told the story there. Parker had it momentarily. Dalhouse went in hard. Socket off the ground by Hunter. Wide of the pack, Cordy. He was taken down. Jack over the top now. Bulldogs are getting a free kick there. I think it'll be Toby McLean in that pack. But now, as you'd expect, with less than a minute to go, Sydney are swamping back.
That's a big call. That's that prohibitive contact below the knees that could go the other way, but Toby McLean will get the free kick. You could argue that one to the cows come home, Duck, which way it should be paid.
And gets 52 and then kicks to full forward. Rampy over the back. McVeigh taken down. McVeigh just taps it away. Heaney's been very, very good. Dalhouse as well. It's been a wonderful opening half of football. So many contributors on both sides. More Sydney side now than Dogs, but it was the Dogs early in this term that made the running. Boyd getting through. Stringer. That's a better kick. Oh, Mills couldn't quite. Tap, 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 tap. McLean hooking. Oh, yes. That is the cream on what has been a beautiful first half cake. This has been as good a first half of footy you've ever seen, I reckon, in a grand final. And that just tops it off.
Brilliant finish here. Clean, one step. You don't get too many chances like that. You've got to nail them, and Toby McLean certainly did that.
Well, they just haven't got too many balls in there quick enough where they sort of got a two or a 3-on-3, and the ball gets in there quickly. When it's been a slow movement and a high ball in, Sydney have dominated. That was completely different there, Lingy. The Sydney defenders all of a sudden started to panic a little.
11 seconds remaining in the second term. The margin is 2 points. A half that's had everything. Naismith taps it down. Boyd goes after it. Liberatore's got it, but not the first time. Goes again. The siren, after all his effort, might beat them all. Biggs. There it is, it's half-time. I have to say, this game is simmering as one of the great grand finals. The ingredients are in the mix. We just need a close finish. Richo is going out to grab one of the stars of the first half. What a terrific game it's been so far. The Sydney Swans 7-3-45. The Western Bulldogs is 7-1-43. And that man has been quite outstanding. 22 possessions to half-time in a grand final. He averaged 25 in his previous grand finals coming in. Let's go down to Richo.
Well, Kieran, you'd be frustrated with that last goal, but it was a good turnaround from halfway through that second quarter.
Yeah, it was. The boys bounced back. Just got to even the numbers up around the ball. If we can do that, can put some heat on them in their forward line.
You'd be very happy. Midfield goals, 4 out of Mitchell and Kennedy.
Yeah, good start from them. Hopefully they can do it again in the second half.
Okay, thanks, Kieran.
Good stuff, Richo. Matthew Boyd there with the Doggies. It's a 2-point game at half-time. What a first half. Back with the second half of the grand final.
We came in thinking it might be one of the great grand finals, and if the first half is anything to go by, it is going to be some sort of a last 60 minutes. It has been full of defensive efforts which have been superb. It has been fierce and brutal and explosive. The heat has been immense. It's been frantic across the board. It has been a furnace. With 11 seconds left in the first half, the Dogs found something through McLean. Wasn't much, but it was enough here, space-wise, to get them back to within 2 points.
Well, this is how all
by 4 at quarter time, Swans by 2 at the long break. How do you like your grand final?
This is how all the scoring is happening. There's only been a handful of marks taken inside 50. It's all crumbing goals. Who can make the most of those half chances, as McLean did just then?
Exactly right, and that's the pressure from both teams. The ball going forward from the Doggies have been a little bit off, but as you said, if you kick those crumbing goals, it makes up for it.
The movement of the ball from the Dogs inside 50 early, you said it looked panicked and without composure. And then when they got things rolling, the crumbing forwards from Bulldogs' point of view look really dangerous.
Exactly right. As a forward, if you look at this is Smith on Grundy. He weighs 20 kilos less than him, but all you got to do is bring the ball to ground. Early on in the first quarter, Sydney took 3 or 4 important marks in their defensive 50, which they were able to defend the ball out. And if you watch here, the ball comes to ground. It gives their small forwards an opportunity. Picking here, turn into a goal kicker, gives them a bit of a crumb, and on the right, snaps a nice little goal. So it's given their coming forwards an opportunity.
Lee, it was brutal early. It took 10 minutes before either side scored at all. Momentum with the Swans for a little bit, then absolutely with the Bulldogs, and then the Swans 4 goals in 7 minutes.
Well, there was just no time and space in that first quarter, so there was only 3 goals scored. But then the game opened up just a little. There still wasn't much time or space, but players of either side, it was 11 goals obviously kicked in that second quarter, and Josh Kennedy, well, he was outstanding. He was winning the ball in the middle of the ground, but to kick a couple of goals when goals are just so valuable because they're so hard-earned today.
Exactly right. That's the most exciting thing about these two teams. They can score fast. As you said, Kennedy's had 20, kicked 2 goals. I think Mitchell popped up for 18 and kicked 2 as well. So both teams can turn the switch.
3 goals in the first term, 11 in the second. Mitchell, 2 touches only in the first quarter, 14 in the second and 2 goals. How quickly can you turn your grand final around?
Well, it's ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? Scoring has looked so difficult, and you thought early at quarter time, I thought this is going to be a really low-scoring grand final. But all of a sudden, it's opened up a little bit. With a little bit of fatigue setting in, it should open up a little more in the second half. So now there might be more opportunities for forwards to use their flair. At the moment, it's been second effort stuff.
And that's what the Doggy supporters got to look at Jake Stringer. He has had the best of halves, but Mitchell didn't have the best of first quarters. All you got to do is turn it around. If Stringer can stick to it, he set up the last goal. If he can snag a couple, he should put the Doggies in going into the last quarter.
We're going to the rooms with Tim Watson and Richo in just a moment. Dogs by 4 at quarter time. The Swans at the long break by just 2 points. been the grand final we hoped for. Dogs by 4 points at quarter time. Just 3 goals in the opening term. Parker kicked the first. It took until the 12-minute mark to get the first goal of the grand final. Then Cordy and Dixon finished things off in that opening term. Then 11 goals in the second term. 5 of 6 at one point for the Dogs. 4 in a row to the Swans. Then Boyd broke the Swans run. Then Mitchell responded with his second. And then McLean, with 11 seconds to play in the second term, brought the margin to just 2 points. Luke Beveridge, his first grand final at this level. He's been there and addressed other sides before. But let's pause for a moment on the footy. The 13 Cabs grand final sprint. Basil Zemplis has the call.
Final of the 1-3 Cabs Grand Final Sprint for 2016, and here are our 10 finalists. Harvinder Singh, the 32-year-old, the fastest cabbie in the land. Brad Lynch from the Western Bulldogs in lane 2. Anthony McDonald-Tipperwoody from Essendon in 3. 28-year-old James Shirley, who plays his footy with Murrumbina. Matt Jackdaw, the defending champion, in 5. Buse of Geelong in 6. James Rose alongside him from Sydney. Liam Sumner of Carlton in lane 8. Darcy Tucker of Fremantle in 9. And rounding out this field, Bailey Rice from St Kilda in lane 10. Let's get down to our starter.
Gentlemen, on your marks, set.
So Daw missed the start. They flew out. Tucker got away really well. Now Matt Jack coming through. James Shirley coming at him. Matt Jack might not hold on here. What a boil over. James Shirley, the 28-year-old from Murrumbina, has won the 13 Cabs Grand Final Sprint for 2016. Plays his football in the local league, won his way through into this final, and the amateur has beaten the professionals. What about that from James Shirley, the 28-year-old, and he denies Matt Jackdaw, who was trying to become just the 4th player to defend his grand final sprint title. So Matt Jack at the halfway had the lead, and then Shirley just mowed him down and gets the win. Well, a grand final day he will never forget. The winner of the 13 Cabs Grand Final Sprint for 2016 is James Shirley. He's with Richo.
Well, James, how good's this, mate? Out on the MCG representing the Murrumbina Footy Club. Did you think you had him covered going in?
I know Matt Jack's real quick, so I didn't know, but it's good to get the win.
Mate, have you got a few friends down at Murrumbina Footy Club watching now?
Yeah, they love it. They're all about it when I'm running in the games. That's about all I can do.
Well, mate, you're knackered. Well done. You've won $5,000, which is going to go to the Ladder Foundation. From 1-3 Cabs, Simon presenting you with the cheque. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Well done, Richo. The famous 59. Have a look at this. It's Luke Beveridge and his disciples. He has sprinkled magic dust all over this team. What they've done in 24 months is quite remarkable, Lee.
Yeah, so that is sort of a motivational thing there, Hodgie. It's not so much the tactics that he's talking to him about, but getting them up, getting them together, getting a bit of touch. It's a bit like a three-quarter time address, isn't it, really? But it's only half-time.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, last time these two teams played, Sydney went in front just, was by about 10 points, and the Doggies kicked 6 goals to 2 in the third quarter. So they're probably going back, same kind of tactics against Sydney, try and move the ball, change the angles a little bit, and see if they can improve in the second half.
Are you feeling more anxious and nervous at half-time after an hour of footy, given you're closer to the end and you're still no clearer on the result?
I think with the Doggies, I reckon they were unsure what was going to happen. So going into the first half, they were just hoping they were going to be within striking distance. They've had a fantastic first half of football. They've kicked straight, going in at 7-1. So I reckon they're going in full of confidence, going to come out and hit the second half.
There should be a build-up. At half-time, it's just halfway through the game. It's a normal game of footy. When it gets to three-quarter time, and you sort of know that there's 30 minutes to go to win or lose a grand final, that's when it's a little different, I reckon. But at half-time, it's just a normal game of footy out there.
Bob Murphy wrote in the paper today, the difference between romance and baggage is wafer thin. If it's 2 points at three-quarter time, that's exactly how they'll be thinking. Which way does the coin fall?
Well, that's the way it is. The last two times they've played, there's been a kick in it. So both sides have been... When what the Bulldogs did, they stopped the Swans early split screen, which they've been so good at. So they've kept the game tight, and clearly it's anyone's game, which is the kind of tension we want, the competitive tension.
Josh Kennedy's numbers, Luke, in that first half. We saw it then against Marcus Bontempelli. 22 for Kennedy. A couple of goals. He's been involved in some critical plays, but he's had the ball half as many times.
Yeah, that's a hard thing when you put two guys like that side by side. I don't think they've manned up on each other so much this today, but if you look at the numbers, obviously Josh Kennedy's had a fantastic first half. Clearly best on ground at this stage, but as we've seen with the Bont over the last few finals, all it takes is from him is a couple touches here or there, set up a few goals as he did just before half-time. He's looking to have another big half.
2 points only at the long break. A final thought from Lee and Hodgie on the other side. The Swans by just 2 in the biggest game of the year. Welcome back to the grand final. Well, for 22 NAB AFL Oz kickers, they've just had one of the great experiences of their life in front of 100,000 people. They've played a game of football. So the kids depart and the big boys come back out to play. We see great scenes from the Virgin Australia Spider Camp. There's not too many spare seats around this Coliseum. Hodgie, the Bulldogs came out about 3 or 4 minutes ago. The Swans have just come back out onto the ground. Whose jumper would you like to be wearing now?
That's a hard question, mate. It's been a sensational first half. Intensity, both teams have been up. If the Doggies can continue with the pressure they've put on in the first half, I'll go with the Doggies.
I'm looking at that kid there. Not timid so much, but I reckon if Bontempelli, you see Franklin in the background, the two real weapons for the two teams. Which one of those two players can be the most effective in the second half? But I'll stick with the season pros, the Swans.
Roosters 2 points separates them, one of them 60 minutes away from football nirvana.
Let's go for the second half of the grand final.
45 plays 43. Sydney on top after the Dogs led by 4 points at quarter time. Unrelenting this game so far. We probably expected that coming in. Second half then. Naismith and Roughhead, as they've done all day, go to battle again. Naismith hooks it down behind. Parker a tumble. Can't dig it out of there. Whistle.
Stand up. Stand up. Play behind me.
Liberatore so often today at the base of the packs. In from the side, Bontempelli knocked it down. Kennedy again imposing himself. Now that's 23 possessions. Down towards half forward. Tippett comes up. Gathers the bouncing ball. Here's Heaney.
Heaney's kick inside the forward 50. Morris fine mark. Uses his old mate in Boyd. The old firm. Gets it wide. Asks a bit of rough head. Those two ruckmen go together. Joe Hennison. Couple of speedsters. Rowan with him to run him down. Kicks to a 50-50. Good mark by Rampy against quality opposition.
And that's what they can't have in the second half, the Dogs. When they bring it to ground in their forward half, they get the ball on the ground. But if Rampy and Grundy keep taking intercept marks, then that play makes the Swans look like winning the game.
Jones goes back to Rampy. They get it back to Smith, to McVeigh. They get it out. So Lloyd now with a chance to create something here. Now he can go over the top, and he does in good hands with Heaney. He's had a fine match.
Oh, lucky!
Slows it for a minute. So the Swans take some pace out of the game. He kicks the ball to Tippett. He's got it. He just shoved them out of the way.
Oh, Fletcher! Where you are is really good.
And that's a great sign for the Swans. He's got to stand up and take those sorts of marks. Caught one in the head. We know he's had that fractured jaw, but stood strong, took the grab for his own confidence. A poor first half from Kurt Tippett for his own confidence. Needs to go back and nail this one.
It's a big kick in many ways, isn't it? And not quite coming back. So the Swans increase their lead to 3 points.
Hennison to bring it in then. His kicking hasn't been great, but his finding the football has been exceptional. That's a good kick. McLean, who started very well. Here's this ball at right half back, looking up towards the wing. On the move is Boyd. Strong hands by the big fella. That's a great sign. Grundy couldn't knock it loose. Boyd has kicked a couple from the wing to half forward. Smith eyes only for the ball. Knocked over by his own teammate. McLean gave it to Dixon. Wider to Daniel. Kicks into the oncoming McVeigh. And it ricochets out of bounds.
It's been a great recovery, McVeigh. Calf injury kept him out last week. Mills back from a hammy the week before that again, in the first week of the finals. Naismith, rough head, Liberatore digging it out. McVeigh with courage. Kennedy, it spills out. McRae, high tackle, no free G did well there, McVeigh. Franklin had a rare fumble, but wraps him up and the ball up. So Buddy up the ground here, no goals, lots of tackles, some influence. He's had the ankle injury. He had a long talk to John Longmire on the runes before they came back out. That's a great smother by Libba. McLean taken high.
Let him up or it's 50. That's a high contact.
His Libba's been big in the last minute or so. Not in possessions, but just his will on the footy. That's a great smother.
And quick gift to Hamling. Hamling doesn't quite get enough on it to fall forward. Ball's not out. McRae goes back and Dixon kicks his third and the Dogs are in front.
Toby McLean got the free kick. He's very good at that, just lowering the shoulder. When you tackle him, you've got to go lower than that. And then smart by McRae, little give, and Tory Dixon having a wonderful game. Well, this is a good game of footy.
The ruckman touched the footy, roughhead out of the middle, kicks it down towards half forward, getting back. The mark is taken by Lloyd. Short, Mitchell, 15 possessions in the second term. Lloyd pushes up again from behind, kicks it down towards half forward, going back is Hamling. Dropped the mark though, chance for Morris. He couldn't control it, Tippet's over the footy, can't get that right arm free. He'll get a ball up.
Dennis, really looking forward to seeing what Jake Stringer does in this second half. He's just come onto the ground, started the second half on the interchange bench after that discussion with the coach at half-time.
Franklin can't get clear. Smith, Daniel, clever kick to Dalhouse. They spread it to Biggs. Started his career, of course, as a Swan. Cordy kicked a goal in the opening term. He had an influence.
This is what he has to do, Cordy. He's got to hit up to the wings and get Grundy out of that defensive area where he took 5 intercept marks.
Dunkley, oh, that's courage.
And that's 50.
50 metres. Late bump. Set it down, I paid the 50. It was late.
Yeah, well umpired. That was very late. Didn't need to do it and bumped. I know I'm only talking a fraction of a second there, but Layla chose to still crash into the back of McRae. That's a costly 50 to give away.
Huge chance here for the Dogs. McRae's only had one set shot all year. Do you remember it?
Last week.
It's the only time he's had a set shot.
Pretty good one too.
Yep, he's only kicked 2 goals this year in round 1, and last week when he nailed the winner was the only time he's taken a set shot for the year. This is the second time. They haven't missed from a set shot today. They're 4 and 0. The Swans are 2 and 4. There you go, big build-up. What a difference a week makes. Isaac Smith knows all about that stuff, doesn't he? It's a let-off.
It certainly is. To the nervous kick. Grundy with a footy then. To the wing. Will Tippett get there? Gave a contest. Ball's in front. Joe Henderson accelerates away. Hunter along the boundary. Smith with no help. He knew that, so he hung onto the footy and crossed the boundary line. So blemish from McRae. Dogs lead it by 4. Early going third term in the grand final. Roughhead has done well, knocked it down to Hunter, stripped of the football though, rolls across towards a player in McRae who did well improvising. Picken hacks it as it bounces and kicks it about 5 metres and out of bounds. So a boundary throw in, 50 plays 46. And this crowd now at fever pitch. What a game it's been. What a game it promises to be.
Naismith, front spot, but Roughhead wins that tap. Picken couldn't quite get it out. Swans have got numbers. Hennebrey at the coalface. Mitchell, Hennebrey and Kennedy. Prolific first halves and goals to Mitchell and Kennedy. A couple of them. Laidler, that one smothered. Picken getting back to Stringer. Stringer's hands, okay, he was in a tight corner, and Daniel runs it out for a boundary throw-in. Just needs a goal, Stringer, though. He just needs to break the shackles. He looks intimidated, he looks overwhelmed just for the moment. Such a brilliant footballer, game breaker, but not so far today. Naismith, Roughhead. Not for a while, to be truthful. Smith forward. McVeigh holding Dalhouse up, vice versa, Bontempelli in hard, and the Dogs get a stoppage in a very dangerous spot.
25 metres out directly in front. Roughhead with the jump. Bontempelli came in the opposite direction. Picken, Hunter on his left foot, hooks. It's a behind.
That third man up there, Bontempelli again, Lingy from a stoppage. Just so clever at that. Get the ball down to Hunter.
And they only need a fraction of a second with ball in hand. We know how good their hands are. Those forward stoppages are becoming more dangerous for the Swans.
Rampy to half-back. Franklin worked out of the contest. Biggs, Dunkley, Johannesson with the outside of the boot. Bontempelli will fly. Got hands to it. Didn't hang on. Hennebrey pushed to the back surely. No free kick. Wow.
I went down next to him.
Ball out inside the forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs, who are now pressing. Third man up again. Bontempelli did nothing. Naismith crumbed it, kicks it up towards the wing. And now Tippett finds himself in space and surrounded, played it brilliantly. Got it to Franklin. Franklin just forward of the wing. Demanding it long is Richards. He goes in that direction. And Richards finds space and takes the mark.
Gee, that's a superb kick by Buddy Franklin. Well weighted. Got it over the top of the defender. There was nothing the Bulldogs defender could do then. Perfect kick to Richards. We've marvelled at his field kicking throughout the finals, Duck. A display then again from Lance Franklin.
Xavier Richards then in there for kicking goals. Can he kick one now? Well, not sure he tried. That's a poor kick to the opposite pocket. Roughhead is going to be granted a free kick. These big fellas, Naismith and Roughhead, worked tirelessly this afternoon.
Passed the eye test, didn't he, Roughhead? He's had a huge contribution. Big fly from Mills. Cordy was first to the ball and now wrestling it out. Did very well. Hunter, Daniel, Stringer. Well done, Stringer. And does he keep it in? No, nothing quite going right, but a better effort there. That might give him a slight lift. Plenty of upside there if you're a Doggy fan. Rampy to construct from centre wing to Jones.
Across half-back then Jones. To Laidler.
Stay clear.
Much travelled. Mills. A little untidy. Still a good kick though. Richards now a runner inside Franklin. Centre on his left side. Runs into trouble though. Goes back hoping for help. Richards over the football. Finds Lloyd. Lloyd goes inside. Jones back to Lloyd. Forced a hand pass to centre half-back Rampy. Takes a step back. Assesses the terrain and comes out wide. That's a telling kick that got there quickly. Jack plays on, kicks inside the forward 50, working in front Parker. Boyd is with him. Boyd goes back. It was touched first by Parker. In goes Roughhead, taken down by Parker. Wonderful reflex work by Parker to his feet and tackling in a split second.
Spot on, Den.
I reckon in this second half they're going to have to get something out of McGlynn and Papley inside that forward 50. When it hits the ground down the other end, the Dogs are so dangerous.
Here's Kennedy. Could he kick a third? No. Wonderful smother across his boot from Morris. And the ball up.
We don't often focus on the art of smothering, but gee, the Bulldogs have done it well today. Little 1%ers like that, they mean everything in a game like this.
That's the spot Kennedy's kicked his couple of goals in. Boyd doesn't quite get it out. Jack is out in the back. Bontempelli rides him down, turns him over, and ball up again.
What about the tackling from both teams? once again, right from the start until now, neither team has had room to use the footy.
Dogs lead it by 5 then. Tippett tries to direct it across to Kennedy. Down goes Hewitt. Bontempelli emerges with a football. Kicks towards the outer side. How will it bounce? Awkwardly. Comes back towards Mills. Claimed it as mini-second there and taken down, but he got it off. That was well played to Smith. His kick still inside the centre square. Charging through is Smith. Gives it to Mitchell. Mitchell just sets one up. About 20 metres out. Tippett, the temerity to claim a mark. Gave it across to Parker. His kick went about 5 metres. Taken by Roughhead. Kicks it back outside the 50. From behind Biggs. Didn't mark it. Got it on the bounce and kicks it down towards half forward.
Important ball here now. Labour a left footer, but he went the right way and gets to another lefty in Rampy. And then Rampy, that's a very good kick. It was dangerous, but you had to cut the line. Jack goes to half forward. Now look at Franklin here. Let's see his movement. Can he get some separation? It's a clever kick. It was going to go through. It's kept in. It's a behind. Gee, thought his way through there, buddy. There's no explosion today because of the ankle, but he did everything here to will this one home, didn't he?
Yep. Didn't quite hit it right.
Meantime, Johannesson has kicked it to himself and kicks towards the outer side wing. In front, Stringer. Second chance for Stringer. Brilliantly done, Mitchell. Stripped him of the ball. Gave it to Mills, to Hewitt. And now down the line, Heaney. Awkward half volley in front of Backley. And it goes across the boundary line, and Heaney is slow to get up. 51 plays 47. Midway through this third term. Grueling grand final. Boyd and Tippett. Boyd at the second attempt knocks it down. Jack left without it. Boyd goes after it.
Zach Heaney just looked a little bit sore after this. You see there, Biggs coming through, just took out his ankle, rolled outwards. He looks like he's going to stay on the ground though.
Parker, third man up, gave Jack half a chance. Hewitt, well done. Mitchell, misses McGlynn. Morris held up in the tackle. Bontempelli runs hard, kicks long. 1-on-1 at the back, Rampy. Smith, not quick, but he does think, well, that's a beautiful half volley from Lloyd. Oops. Back to Smith. And then Smith with some time finds Richard. So Richard's getting involved in this quarter. Little kick down the line. McGlynn's been quiet. Richo talked about Papney McGlynn. They haven't really had an impact. They haven't hit that board. McGlynn's kick is clever to Franklin. Franklin's still a big shadow over this game, even though he's not fully fit. What does he do here? Does he find a target? It's a beautiful kick. Oh. Is that 50?
That's got to be. Should be 50. That is stupid play. Very, very silly football. He was always going to mark that. I know there's an argument for making him earn it, but that was just silly. Jumped at him. And it's going to be a certain goal.
So Kennedy to equal his career high in a virtuoso performance, and the Swans are back in front. Well, Ron Barassi in 1954 was 18 years of age when he played against Teddy Whitten's Bulldogs when they won their only flag. It was the first grand final Barras played in.
Back in the middle, Boyd on the ground, just knocked it forward. Parker claimed by Becken. Dalhouse throws the body in. That ball moved a couple of metres and that's all, and a ball up.
1 metre
so the Swans again surging, and they lead by 2 points. Third man up, Naismith of all people, knocked it down. Taken by Liberatore. Tried to feed it across to Daniel. And again the umpire will do the business. Right in the heart of the MCG. Naismith to Mitchell standing at his feet. Just rolled it away. Boyd had a play on the football. Thinking about soccering was Parker. Liberatore working hard in there. Brilliantly done by the little man. Down goes Boyd. Hanbury, the one who took him down. And they advance it 10 metres. The umpire's overworked. The players, no clean touches. Hanbury dragged down. Well done, McRae. Chopped off there and slapped away by Heaney. comes out of the pack. I think it was Liberatore who knocked it inside the forward 50. In the opposite direction, Rampy smothered off the boot by Dunkley. Trying to charge his way through as Jack. Nothing doing. Spills to Parker. Eventually, the ball gets clear. It's 1-on-1 on the wing. Make that 2-on-2. Tracking the ball back, trying to knock it forward. Unfortunately, nothing doing down there, at least initially. Hapley had a chance, but Biggs takes the ball away. Up towards the wing, Stringer. Morris involved there as well for that takeaway. Meanwhile, Rampy goes back. He's claimed by Dalhouse. And did he take too long? He did.
Gee, what a passage of footy we just saw. That whole minute and a half was remarkable stuff.
And that's against the trend by the umpire there. They've normally let that go. They've let the players take on the tackler.
Dalhouse to fall forward. Heaney, big fly, no mark. So Clay Smith, the hero of last week. Now is this... Well, gee.
Just one of those unlucky ones. What about Dale Morris at the other end? That is superb. Won the ball back for his team. That's the reason why Smith's having a shot.
4 goals last week. 1 goal in the grand final. The Dogs back in front. 5 lead changes today already. And even the biggest stars reckon it's all right, don't they?
What about Dale Morris? We sang his praises earlier in the game. Wonderful there. Back at half-back. Getting them out of trouble. Eventually, they converted. Now Boyd does nicely. McRae alongside the centre circles. Kicks inside the forward 50. Liberatore trying to restrain Rampy. He won't be restrained, though. Gets a teammate there in Grundy. Now McVeigh deep in defence, short, not 15. Mills gives it back to him now. McVeigh then drives to the outer side, knocked down by Roberts. Richards trying to clear a path for a teammate. That was Jack, but he left the ball behind. Bontempelli boots the ball inside the 50. McLean a hand pass. Matthew Boyd kicks it down towards full forward. Mills goes back, tackled by Stringer, gets it to Rampy. And the ball goes across the line for a behind.
So many changes, 5 changes to lead, but again, now you feel like it's the Dogs, don't you? You feel like suddenly the momentum is with them.
Clever kick by Bontempelli.
Oh, absolutely, Wayne. I mean, he gained some meterage. He put it into a dangerous spot, didn't he? He hasn't had a whole lot of the ball, but he's been very influential. Kennedy's had a heap of it. The kick to centre wing. Papley couldn't quite. Richo. Just Sydney, so many goals from their midfield so far.
Yeah, 5 out of their 8 have come from the midfield. 3 to Kennedy, 2 to Mitchell, and 1 to Luke Parker. 6, they've had nothing out of any of their starting forwards. Tippett, Franklin, Rowan's the only one that's kicked a goal. That's not sustainable. The forward line has to impact if they're going to win this game.
Bontempelli hand passes straight up in the air, snatched away by Kennedy. McGlynn, now Jones, kicks it towards half-forward Franklin. Hamling peeled off, didn't knock it forward. Now they've got a problem. Did Roberts have the football? Apparently he did. Slapped out of there by Morris. Well played. Hand pass came from McRae. Boyd, his second opportunity. Kicks it up towards the wing. Bontempelli. Morris involved again behind play in that last exchange. Morris and Boyd doing great work in defence. Dixon, number 29, turned 29 on Monday. Sends a long ball down towards the pocket. Grundy! Oh, he's been wonderful.
Yeah, can't afford to just bomb the ball like that. The Bulldogs done it time and time again, and Grundy has marked everything when they've done it.
And Lingy Bontempelli's the one that's lifting, isn't he?
The last 5 minutes, Bontempelli's been huge.
McVeigh, good kick. Rowan, can he use his run? No. Corralled by Wood. So Sydney starved for the ball in their forward 50 for a while here. 5 points behind.
Tippett's just come on, and he's going to have a mismatch if they can get it in there.
Gee, not sure what Rowan was really trying to do there. And the ball in. It's a head clash.
He was down for a long time after that too, Kennedy. Had to go really deep into defence. He's cleared his head. Don't forget he got knocked down a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago against the Giants in that first final too.
Naismith tries to paddle it forward. Jack got the arms free. Ball falls to the ground. Bontempelli knew where the help was. McRae, Dalhouse. They run 3 of them down the outer side towards half-forward, but the kick is marked by Laidler. Numbers didn't help where the ball was coming from. Laidler to Rampy. Having a good turn, Rampy. Some indecision though, backs off at least initially, thinks about a hand pass, will go down the line now to a contest, but he's got tall representation. And Naismith certainly hasn't been overawed in this grand final. Got the ball forward at right half back. Boyd, can he do likewise? Yes, he can. He returns serve.
He's been impressive, Boyd, in the last month or so. He's hard as much as his class, hasn't he?
That's where you needed Tippett or Franklin to give a contest down the line. They just were out of position.
Biggs to Morris. There's Franklin, hard on Morris, and forces the error. I feel like Buddy is moving slightly better at the moment. He hasn't hit the scoreboard. So Nick Smith, who kicked his first goal in 3 years today, that's a poor kick. And Morris, who is just so gutsy. I mean, he knew Franklin was close by, but he wasn't going to take his eye off the ball.
And they're double teaming Buddy at the moment, the Bulldogs. Every time it goes there, that means Tippett, Gary Rowan, got to get dangerous.
Boyd, they've done well here, the Dogs. McRae, now he's not going to scamper off. He's going to wait. This guy can scamper, run. Naismith running hard. Well done, big Naismith. But he gets the ball just over Mills. Picken, Liver's hands good. McLean's hands good. Hunter's a left footer. Daniel's a good start shot. And he's missed. But what about the build-up? And what about when Joe Henderson took off and Naismith ran his heart out the big guy?
Wasn't he good, Naismith?
He was. It wasn't quite gentle in Rioli then, but it was pretty good.
And he affected the kick, certainly, didn't he? Now Lloyd to bring it in. 2.5 minutes out from three-quarter time. Dogs up by 6 points. Lloyd short to the pocket and Rampy. Look at the involvement there in that crowd. Riding every kick, every bump, every tackle.
50 metres, too high, 50 metres.
That's against Libba. Didn't quite see that. Oh, there you go.
That's there. No question.
No doubt. So Rampy's got the football. There's Dad trying to make sense of that. And his son's been very good. Mills pushes up his mark at right half back.
We haven't seen any fluent Sydney ball movement, though, in a long time. The Bulldogs, on the other hand, they're opening the Swans up on the outside. It's a little bit worrying.
Well, their gut runner in Hanbury hasn't touched the ball this quarter. Rowan's had one touch.
Big problems, you'd think. I mean, the scoreboard's so close, but at the moment, the Bulldogs are pushing and pushing and pushing. Joe Henderson with that run and carry, and then gets the ball to Dalhouse. It's a beautiful kick. It was the one thing missing from Joe Henderson in the first half. And you feel like they are opening them up. How many times we've seen the Swans stagnant at half-back, Dalhouse back? Well, this is a good play because this might bring Stringer into it. It does, but he misses. But they stretch that lead. They get it beyond the goal. We haven't had it beyond the goal for a fair while in this match.
Lloyd's bring it in, wasting no time. Target is Naismith, but the man who takes the mark is Boyd. Tom Boyd gives it across to Hunter, drives it back towards full forward. Pickens surrounded, got hands to it. Smith arrived, tackled immediately by his opposite number, his namesake. Dragged down, it rolls across to Picken. He went down, McVeigh at close quarters gave it to Parker. Parker under duress, kicks it back out. Tom Boyd once more. Oh, this is the emergence of a young star. The finals round has certainly seen another Tom Boyd. And those last two marks pivotal as they push on to victory.
His hands have been good today. He dropped the first mark of the game on his chest, but his hands have been brilliant. This might be just beyond him. He's clearly very confident that he can make the distance.
We're about to find out. So valiant in the second half last week. Rucking against Mummy. Kick is on the way. And this one just missing to the right. Got the distance. Margin is 8 points.
Kicked a couple. Well, had a huge third term here.
He's had a massive third term. I've never seen him in a game mark the ball as well as he has today. What a time to do it.
Well, he's had career high contested marks, Wayne, today. Huge effort by him. Dogs slightly on top. You can see that for yourself. Jones to Kennedy. The numbers not so big for these great Sydney players. They couldn't keep it going. Kennedy, Naismith, Tippett, spreads it. Here is Hanbury. Richo talked about him. Hardly seen him. McGlynn's been so quiet today. Well played by McRae. And the Bulldogs are going to lead at three-quarter time.
Macca, we know that the Sydney Swans have been the best first quarter side in the competition, but this season, trailing at three-quarter time, they haven't won a game.
Gee. Well, that's what they'll be doing, Tim, whatever happens in the next few seconds. It's not much in it on that board. It has been a grand final to savour with so much still to come. Three-quarter time in the big one. And it's the Dogs 61, the Swans 53.
The 2016 Toyota AFL Final Series, brought to you by Tyre Power. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent.
It was Princess Charlotte's very first royal engagement.
Another challenge for Clinton, the threat from third-party candidates.
New breeding technology has seen 27 births at the centre.
Experience is why people are making the switch to 7 News.
Isn't it great when you get a bit of free stuff on top? Yeah, bung it in. Like Sportsbet Power Play. Just hit the button and you get bigger odds. Look at them go. Power Play from Sportsbet. Boom.
Natural gas keeps my shower hot for as long as I want.
Get out! You've been in there for ages.
Natural gas means I never have to worry about running out.
Natural gas means there's no shortage of romantic nights on the couch.
Two years ago, it was desperation time for Sydney. They let themselves down in that grand final. And what about 1954 when Charlie Sutton and Teddy Whitten, and then almost the Dogs looked as if they were going to be merging, and then of course this, the big injury of the year with Bob Murphy. And what about this? They're into their first grand final since 1961, and here they are at three-quarter time, and they lead by 8 points. Only one team, Richo and Tim, has come from behind in the last 32 years at three-quarter time to win a grand final, and that was Lingy's Cats in 2009.
Well, Mackie, you couldn't deny the Bulldogs. We've already seen them through this final series, go on the road to the West, come back to Melbourne, go on the road to Sydney. A lot of players look tired there at three-quarter time, having their legs massaged by the training staff, but I think they've still got plenty left in them, Richo.
Oh, certainly they have. When the ball got them out into space, they looked the far more dangerous team in that third quarter. Regardless of the road trips, regardless of the players having massage, they've got more run across the ground. For Sydney to win, they needed to remain in the clinches where, of course, they've done very well. Contested and clearance, they needed to be like that for the whole last quarter. When it gets into space, it's a Dogs ball game.
So the final term of a final call. Pity it's not 54 to 61, Dan. That would have rung a lovely ring, wouldn't it?
Still, this will do, eh? What a great game it's been. Bulldogs by 8 points as we start the telling quarter. We'll know in about 30 minutes. Pelly and Kennedy jousting wide of this bounce. You can see them in the background. In the foreground is knocked down by Tippett. Under pressure, he gets a kick down towards half forward. The judgment from the captain this afternoon of the Dogs. Easton Wood goes out wide. The former captain, Matthew Boyd, tracks it. Plenty of time. Kicks it up towards the wing. Cordy on the lead. Got a side boot to it. Dalhouse played it well. Gave it to Picken. Picken a high ball. Hunter tried to work in front. McVeigh missed it. Back goes Heaney. Under pressure was Kennedy. Stolen by Picken. Pulls it back towards the middle. Whose ball is it? Getting there first and doing well, Grundy. Got a hand pass away to Jones. On the overlap, Hanbury. And now McGlynn's away.
And now the Swans away. They get to centre wing. A big ball here. And Wood wins it again. Brilliant. Joe Henderson just lost his feet. Hanbury in hard. Hurt himself. Hanbury's in trouble. I hope he's all right. Joe Henderson to run and carry. Good tackle. He gets a fair bit on it. Mark taken by Rampy. Where's Hanbury? Is he all right? He's in trouble.
I don't think he's going to be okay at all. He's clutched his knee. He's in agony at the moment, and the trainers are carrying him off the ground. And it should have been a free kick too.
Yep.
Gee, what a story there. Oh, Franklin. And half-back. Has he got one last run in him, Buddy? As Hanbury goes to the bench. Franklin's kick to Tippett. Can't take the mark. Wood's been telling in this last quarter. Good all day. Rough head to Roberts. They build.
This is Hunter. Sweeping hand pass inside the centre square. McRae gets the kick off in time inside the forward 50. Dixon battling there with Lloyd. Dixon goes again, but not before Mitchell gave it back to Lloyd. And now Jones is away. Accelerates from half back. Carries the ball up towards the wing. Tries to measure the kick to Parker, but wide of him. Roughhead going stride for stride with him. Not a good sign. Parker not moving too well. The hand pass came from Roberts to Botham-Pelly. Up towards the wing. This guy is running brilliantly. Johannesen. Pity he's not kicking as well. It goes down towards the pocket. Rampy run down from behind. Pickin got him dead to rights. And the surge and the run and the electricity is coming from the Bulldogs to start this final term.
All the run is with the Western Bulldogs, and that's the bad news for Sydney on the bench. Dan Hanbury getting that lower leg checked out. What a tackle. Rampy had no idea that Pickin was closing so quickly. He's done it all final series, Liam Pickin. He has been brilliant. They do have all the run, all the energy at the moment.
That's a big story there on the sidelines right now. I don't like the look and expression on Dan Hanbury's face at all.
So Pickin, what a huge kick it is, comes in. And this one is sliding across the front of goal. How many Dogs there? Cordy outmanoeuvred by Grundy, and the mark is taken by Heaney.
The wrong end for the Swans at the moment. Heaney getting it outside that 50. Franklin doing some work at half-back in this final term with Tippett. And that ball held in. And the ball up.
You dragged it in.
No, free kick to the Swans. So Franklin's had the second kick he's got at half-back in the final term. Getting involved, Buddy.
They got nothing at half-forward. Tippett's trying to get there now to make a contest.
Franklin floats it forward. Bontempelli gets around a little too easily. Clever kick. Half volley by Cordy. Good. Over the top, Dalehouse running on. How good was Clay Smith? Can't get it out. Heaney onto him. Grundy look away. Terrific. To Jones. To Smith. Big questions asked of the Swans here. Kennedy worked under the ball. Goes back to Morris. Goes back to Cordy. Oh, well done. Gets the ball inside forward 50. Gee, how good has Grundy been today?
Oh, they've stood up the defence. Bulldogs just have to have a little bit more composure. They're dominating the footy right now. Just have to hit a target inside 50.
Swans under pressure. Rampy to Lloyd towards the wing. Richards comes. Unfortunately for the Swans, lost his footing at the last moment. His opponent had already gone to ground. So he has to settle it down. Just up from right half back. He sends it towards half forward. Heaney is outnumbered, but help is on the way. Franklin was up, didn't take the mark. Parker got the crumb, gave it to Hewitt. Taking a full rotation. Heaney's got it now. Kicks a floater down towards half forward. One out contest all the way. Wide of the pack, Hunter. Hunter quickly releases the ball, but getting back is Papley. Papley snaps. And he misses to the near side.
Had to give that then, Tom Papley. Had to give it to Josh Kennedy. Wasted chance. Here's Dan Hanbury. Oh, that is got medial ligament written all over it in your knee. Maybe even worse than that. Oh, he's going to be sore. No wonder Tim's worried about him coming back out in the ground.
Oh, Boyd again.
Remarkable.
Incredible. And then kicks to a one-on-one contest. Not much in this game, but the Swans need the opening goal here. Richards gets it back to forward 50. Papley subdued for most of the day. Has to hit the scoreboard in the last quarter. And the ball up.
Boyd has been unbelievable since half-time. They almost need him to be doing that in their forward 50 when they kick it long. It's a brilliant mark.
You know what it's reminding me of? The 2011 Grand Final, Tom Hawkins. Basically, Hawkins' coming out party.
Yep, and you become a different player after that, don't you? Naismith, we've got that 54-61 Bulldog scoreboard for the moment. The kick inside forward 50. Hamlin, so courageous. Goes wide, they open up. Daniel's on the run here. If Biggs goes to him, he does.
So Daniel now takes the mark at right half back. He'll bypass the short man, goes long looking for Stringer. Had it thumped away. Chance for Heaney, clever by Cordy. Knocked it into the path of Hunter. Tackle from behind by Laidler. And the Swans able to tie it up. Just over 14 minutes remaining in this final quarter. Well, that's remarkable too. Hanbury is on his feet and jogging on the boundary as Kennedy continues to do what he's done all afternoon. Gave it across to Jones, bounces it to Papley. Papley on the wing to space. Franklin is surging after this one, and he gets there. Had the acceleration that time, and now this is his spot.
He doesn't look good, Dan Hanbury. He's trying his hardest, but if as soon as he tries to change direction, he winces in pain. But I think he's going to have a crack. He's a gutsy player.
This is what the Swans have been able to do all final series. When they've been dominated, they've been able to go to the other end of the ground and kick that important goal. Bulldogs dominating here. Sydney might get that goal.
80 goals for the season, 12 possessions this afternoon, none of them goals. The angle opens up for the left footer, and the champion nails it. Never deviated.
Well, he knew how big that was. He's worked so hard in this last quarter. That's a massive goal. Gone from one end of the ground to the other. Hasn't happened too often in this game.
Kennedy, by the way, just the third man to have 30 and 3 goals in a grand final. Smith out of the centre. Dogs by a point. Picking good contest, but a better mark taken by Smith.
Not off. Play on.
What an effort by the Swans. If they are to win this match, you would think the first 7-8 minutes of this quarter where they held up the Dogs will be the telling moment. And what about the bravery of this young fella, the symbolism of him back on the ground?
If that is a medial ligament, he will be able to run in straight lines, but Richo's right, he will not be able to change directions for the rest of this game.
Hewitt, no influence, and then that ball tapped out. Is it a boundary throw-in? It is.
He was wincing in a bit of pain when he actually kicked that footy there, Hanbury. Look at this. He kicks that and you can see
he can't put any power through that at all.
No.
Bulldogs by a point then, falls in front. Mitchell tried to crash the pack. Daniel and waiting, kicks it down towards half forward. Cordy gets into his move, now he's in trouble. Comes back to Stringer. Great tackle by Heaney, got him down. Ball up. Every possession, every contest vital now. 12.5 minutes out from full time. Mitchell dancing through the pack. Releases Hewitt. He was dragged down from behind. Bontempelli tracks the football back. Goes around Tippett. Gives it to McRae in space. He drives it back towards the 50. Picking from behind. Picking from behind. What a mark. The littlest man at the threesome. He's got the ball about 55 metres out. Sydney running men back towards the goal square. Liam Picken comes in, thinks he can do the trip. It's a long kick, won't get the trip. Heaney angles a punch cleverly back across the boundary.
I thought we were looking at his dad there, Billy Picken. That is a brilliant mark. Just hovered in the air. As he was coming down, he's taken that. That is a fantastic grab by Liam Picken.
His dad played in 5 grand finals. He's a great player for Collingwood. Didn't get that premiership cup. That was a Billy Picken special. It's a Liam Picken special. Roughhead. Boyd. Ball not coming out. All those goals in the second quarter, you think back to all those goals, those 11 goals in the second quarter, Hanbury off the ground. Wonder if he can come back, McRae. Stringer! Oh yes, he's done it! The package! Might deliver a cup!
Right, he's had a quiet day, but it doesn't matter. You can do that in the last quarter. He could still have a massive influence. That's a huge goal. In actual fact, his goals in the finals have all come from snaps.
Still plenty of time. Margin 7 points. Naismith up. Thumps it forward. Parker, misfortune to slip over. Gives it to Hewitt. Hewitt under pressure. Goes with the left peg down towards the forward pocket. In from the side, Rowan. Spills in front, Kennedy. Boyd is there for the Dogs. Hand passes outside the 50. Kennedy can't get the arms free to hand pass, so forced to kick. Down towards the pocket. Morris jumped from behind. Boyd was in there. That's going to be incorrect disposal. Hewitt worked hard moments ago. He was in the centre square. And now he's got a shot at goal, the youngster. The man on the mark about 30 metres out, 10 metres in from the boundary.
It's a hard call, that. Just tapped it.
George Hewitt. A thankful kick, perhaps. He's got the goal. It's on again. A point the difference.
Remarkable day. They couldn't nail their set shots earlier today. Franklin nails one. Hewitt nails one. Back to a point.
Hanbury back to the bench too, Bruce.
That should come back. You got a gut feeling, Richo?
Oh, he's just not right. He's in a lot of pain. He's trying to tell the doc and that he's okay. We know how gutsy he is, but he's clearly not okay.
Live it tough and hard. Gets it forward. Stringer feeling it for the moment and getting it forward. That's an important play. Rampy gets the good bounce. What a fine player he is, the All-Australian. It was touched on the way through. Biggs knew it. He has to get away. He can't. Good tackle, Papley. Heaney, little hands, not great. Swans with numbers. Papley burrowing, can't get through. And the ball up.
Well done, Tom Boyd. Put the body in. Umpire wastes no time. Liberatore, brilliantly done. Spins in and out of trouble. Sends it inside the forward 50. Turns Grundy around. Bearing down is Cordy. This ball wanders out towards left half back. Opportunity now for Richards. Coming across his bow is Stringer. Both of them missed it. Picked up by Mills. Hand passes to Hewitt, who's taken too high. And he'll get the free kick at right half back. At the last goal.
Goes long. Franklin, his target, doesn't quite get to him. Naismith. Franklin gets a touch on it. Kennedy. Again, what a ball he is. Franklin put in a tough position. Drops it down. Can't get it out. Gets an important toe poke. Boyd, what a game he's playing. Both the Boyds. Belts it forward. Belted away by Rampy. Only as far as Dalhouse. McLean out wide. This is big. Really big. Cordy waits. Gets it back. Stringer. Oh, couldn't quite. Mills on the up. Back to Smith from Lloyd. Bad kick. McRae, plenty of time to think it through. Still thinking it through. Good kick. Finds Picken.
Stay clear.
9 minutes to go. Picken. He's signed up by a point. Extra time if required this afternoon. Picken sends it down towards full forward. Stringer launches himself. Didn't take the mark. Behind a chance for Smith. Dalhouse run down as the ball bounced towards him. Big Boyd goes down. Nothing doing for Tom there. And it's a ball up. Tom Boyd, born on the day of Ted Whitten's state funeral, the 22nd of August 1995. He's playing like Whitten this afternoon. Well, not quite. Different sorts of players, but what a game he's played. Oh, Picken was taken high there. No free kick. Kennedy scrambles it out. Stopped by Boyd. That's Matthew. Hand passes to McLean. Wriggles free. Across to Daniel. Deep in the pocket, Daniel. Centering ball. Getting back Heaney with wonderful courage. And he wins a free kick. Brilliant. In fact, it may be... Is it going? No, it's not to Rampy. It's going to Heaney. Bumped in the back.
Goes wide. Good kick. Gets it to Grundy. Has Grundy played a better match than this?
He's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Papley. He'd love to snare a goal in the last quarter. And that's not what he wanted. But he puts a tackle on Biggs. Swans may still get out here. Lloyd. Oh, terrific by Biggs again. Dunkley's hands. McRae. We know he's so good with ball in hand. Dunkley. Biggs going hard. Mills gets down low. No free kick. Has to cough it up. Biggs in there again. Ball almost out to Cordy. Not quite. It is now. Doesn't quite get a kick. Daniel. Still Daniel. Boyd. No goal. Ball about 15 metres away. Biggs. He started it all. Can't quite finish it. Ball comes out. Dunkley gets it back. McRae. Beautiful kick. Gives McLean a chance. Picken. Oh, Picken. Picken. Yes. Liam Picken. Nails it. How big was that?
This is just how they've played all year. Picken has been huge. Marking it on the ground doesn't matter. He's turned himself into a match winner, this guy.
7 points the difference. Well, what can the Swans muster here? Knocked down by Roughhead. Bontempelli off the ground. Hunter knocks it across to Dixon. Dixon kicks it down towards half forward. Getting across is Grundy. Well played by Tom Boyd. into the path of McRae. Wriggles free. Centering ball to a one-on-one. Picken dangerous. McVeigh did well. Bumped it away. Covered by Dunkley. Down to Picken. Can't break free. Surrounded by red and white. Pepley too long. Got boot to ball. Great tackle by Smith. Kicked by Dunkley to the opposite pocket. Close to the boundary. Surely a free kick for Rampy. Nothing doing. Taken by Grundy. Kicks it outside the 50. Johannesson. Wrong foots his opponent McGlynn. Runs to the logo. He's a long kick is Johannesson. I think he's put it through. Johannesson has kicked the goal. The boy from East Fremantle.
They can sniff it now, the Bulldogs. They feel this City team breaking. The run of Johannesson, the run of McRae, been There is a score review, though.
Having a look at it. You're just having a look at the last one.
Gee, it's close. It might be pointless. Is it? Is the ball completely over?
There's a fat bit, there's skinny bit. I keep saying that.
Is he touched?
I reckon it's just
Review
over.
complete. The score is a behind. The ball's touched.
Not completely across the line, I would say.
Yeah.
That's their call. What a huge call.
It's a massive call.
And the Dog supporters are dismayed. They fear things like this.
The Bulldogs players now have just got to regroup, just stay calm, because they do have this game. They have the momentum. They've got to turn it into another goal.
Rampy to himself. Can he give them some bounce like Johannesson? He's played well, Rampy. Straight down the middle. Naismith. Rough hit. Passed the test yesterday for the optometrist. Playing today has been excellent. Kicks the ball wide. A defensive kick. Boyd's been marking everything. Play on. It was McLean that was the highest. McRae gets a lot on it to full forward. Jones belts it over. And the Swans are on their knees, and Bob Murphy can hardly bear to watch.
9 points the difference then. Back in round 3, it was Murphy who did his knee. What a recovery they've made over all those injuries. They kept fighting. Can they fight on from here? Ball to the pack, it's Hunter. Kicks inside the forward 50. No, says Jones. This is Mills. Kicks it back towards the wing. In front, Franklin. Knocked away by Morris. Naismith sold a teammate into trouble. Quick thinking by Kennedy. And Franklin was run down. Tom Boyd's got it. Tom Boyd goes long. How will it bounce? The stadium holds its breath. It's a goal. And the western suburbs erupt.
The man who's done the simple things well all year, Dale Morris, he provided that goal for Tom Boyd, but what a moment, what a game for Tom Boyd. Sensational.
Swans need 3 goals. They probably need a miracle. Bontempelli can't quite get it out. Franklin gets hold of it now. Can he run and carry it, Buddy? He's trying to. Kicks it forward. It's a good kick. It's a brilliant kick again. And McGlynn, who's hardly been sighted all day, has a chance to keep them in the match. Has to kick this for Sydney to win today. They won't come back if he misses. Gee, Buddy was good there.
Some goals are concentration breakers. You kick them, and suddenly you think you've won the game, and the Bulldogs a bit like that with that last set of outs, but Johannesson drives it towards the outer side, off hands, pushing through his Bontempelli. Nothing doing there, we'll get a ball up.
So right now, Tom Boyd, he might be the cheapest $900,000 a year player going around.
Well, he's close. Like that flag is. Based on today, a wonderful investment. Back goes Hunter. Slips a hand pass away. Johannesson running as hard now as he did at the start. Up towards the wing. Smith over the top. Decided against the punch. Maybe he should have. McRae slides in and ties it up.
Nearly 100,000, eh? 19 shy. What a day that they have witnessed, with still 4 minutes away from everything if you're a Doggies fan. Everything.
Buddy starting at the back of this stoppage. Expect him to just fly through.
Parker. Daniel can't break it. Time on Dog's side. Bontempelli gets it out to Boyd. Gets it forward. Stringer makes a good contest. McRae's been wonderful. Oh, he couldn't kick a fourth. Just misses. Incredible this day how people emerge.
Yes. Rampy towards midfield. Time of the essence now. Papley, Tippett. Mitchell has drifted out of the game. Kick blanketed. Goes to Matthew Boyd, who kicks it back inside the forward 50. After it goes Grundy. Played his heart out this afternoon. Stringer arrives. Grundy a defiant push across to Rampy. In goes McVeigh. Back to Grundy, still recovering. Smith under pressure. Just did enough. Gave it across towards Jones, and out of defence the high ball comes from Lloyd. Mark is taken by Franklin. Under 3 minutes remaining. Franklin up on his toes, dancing, just kicks it to space. There was no one on deep. Matthew Lloyd just ambles after it. They're consuming some time. Well played, Roberts across to Morris. Now Johannesson, and they're out. Dunkley around the outer side.
He's got numbers forward if they can win this contest. Stringer did well. Dalhouse to Daniel to Stringer, having an impact at last. That big goal in the last quarter. Good kick. Gives Pickett a chance. It's over. It's all over. The drought. The damn wall is busted. It's 62 long years.
They are now experiencing the greatest feeling you will ever feel as a player. Late in the last quarter, and you know it, deep down that you know it, you have won the premiership. Nothing gets better than that.
They're up by 21 points. Tippett thumps it forward. Hunter fearing nothing. And charging off the line, taken high. Barely a scratch.
Don't give it away.
He's floating on air like his teammates now. The realisation is theirs. They've won the premiership. The second for this club. Since their last grand final, they've been beaten in 7 preliminary finals. Down comes Luke Beveridge. It's time for a Beveridge. The underdogs are on top of the world.
What a story. So Hunter to leave the field as we go back from the coach there with the captain, and we'll go back to the on-field captain today. Incredible scenes. Australian football's had so many romantic, wonderful stories, and this is as good as it's ever been. A kick to centre wing. Dalhouse on the up. Roberts. Oh, McRae again with those hands. McLean to Daniel, and then Daniel hooking, just buying a bit of time, and Grundy to bring it back in. So they went to Perth and knocked off a grand finalist. They came here and beat the 3-time champs. They went to Sydney and beat the Giants, and now they're Giants themselves.
Enough to make grown men cry, and they are on the boundary line. Bontempelli to Roberts, a hand pass to half forward and Dixon to Daniel. They're irrepressible now. They've run hard all season. They're running harder at the end of this historic grand final. Picken to Stringer, Jones defiantly, but it stands for naught. McLean taken high. 30 seconds to go. Tony Liberatore was in a few of those losing preliminary finals. He won a Brownlow medal. He's felt their pain. McLean. It's simply icing on the cake. What a day. McLean will kick virtually on the siren. He misses. But they don't miss out. Their day, their year, their joy.
Well, how good is that? The Bulldogs getting up by 20.
Dale, this is a magnificent day for you, a magnificent day for the Bulldogs.
Unbelievable. I'm absolutely speechless there. Just to be out here, the crowd, the noise. This team, this club, I don't know, it's incredible.
The support for this team today was just unbelievable. Could you feel that out here on the ground?
I could feel it through the whole final series, especially this week. It's unbelievable. You've got to let me get back to the boys. This is unbelievable.
I'm going to let you do that. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Amazing scenes, aren't they? I mean, and look at Bob Murphy. He's the heart and soul so much of the footy club, but there's so much heart and soul in this football club.
There certainly is. He said on radio today before the game, Bob Murphy, he refused to be sad today. It was all about joy, and, well, he'll be lapping it all up as well with his teammates. I think Richo might have one of his teammates down there.
So Matthew having trouble hearing us. We'll get to Matty in a minute.
I doubt he can hear us.
No. Well, what's 10 seconds to wait after you've had 62 years anyway? We're patient, aren't we? For Dan Hanbury, well, we know what he's going through. Matthew, down to
Yes,
you.
Bruce. Yeah, Luke, this is just an incredible group that you've put together in 2 years. You must be so bloody proud, mate.
Yeah, I am, mate. You know, it all comes down to the players. So many people have put a lot of work into them and given a lot of guidance. And, you know, everyone who supports them in the club has got them to the point where they're pretty finely tuned for a grand final. It's just an amazing performance by our boys, and Sydney an unbelievable side, so took everything.
It was a great team effort, mate, but I want to individualise one player. The coming of age of Tom Boyd today, he was absolutely unbelievable. In the air, 3 goals, in the ruck. How good was he?
He was enormous.
How's that feel?
We're officially Yanks now. After that, Porty was amazing. Him and Ruffy have formed an unbelievable partnership, this year, and just see what he did, and probably left his best till last. So, I suppose it'll go down as one of those unbelievable grand final performances, hopefully for him.
Oh, it certainly was an unbelievable performance. What about some of the older statesmen, like Dale Morris, Matty Boyd? Some of their individual efforts and stages through this game were so crucial.
They were. we needed composure as well as the real grit and hardness around the ball, and they're just great guiding hands down there. And Easton the whole back line was tremendous. We felt like they had too many clean entries, and they held up really well until our midfield got a little bit of control in the back half. So that whole back line was enormous. JJ, Biggsy, some of those efforts in the last quarter were just sensational.
Mate, congratulations.
Enjoy it. Thanks, mate.
Luke Beveridge saying we're Yanks now. Well, to pitch a line from a famous Yank caller, Al Michaels. When Luke Beveridge got to the club, do you believe in miracles? It was a long way away from where they are now. It was a day we'll never forget. So a magnificent game draws to its conclusion. A game, a result, a win that's going to be talked about for a lot more than 62 years. It was a match for the ages as we go down to Craig Willis for the presentation after the 2016 Grand Final.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a match. The Pups have become Bulldogs here at the MCG. As we commence our formal presentation, I'd like to acknowledge the AFL's premier partner, Toyota, to David Butner and the team. David, thank you for your outstanding support of our great game. Also, I'd like to congratulate today's field, boundary and goal umpires on their contribution to the 2016 Toyota AFL Grand Final. Well, it wasn't to be their day, but they've had a magnificent season. I'd like to invite the co-captain of the Sydney Swans, Kieran Jack, to come forward and say a few words.
Yeah, look, firstly, just a huge congratulations. Luke Beveridge, Easton Wood, Bulldogs boys. It's been a really even competition all year. You guys play footy the right way, so well congratulated today. Now, boys, we couldn't get the job done, but we'll be back. We're going nowhere. Thanks to all the fans for turning up. We're sorry we couldn't get the job done.
Thank you, Kieran. I look forward to seeing you and the Swans in action in season 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, would you now welcome former North Melbourne Premiership player, a winner of the Norm Smith Medal back in 1999, Shannon Grant, to present the Norm Smith Medal to the player adjudged best of field in today's Grand Final.
The winner of this year's Norm Smith medalist is Jason Johannesson.
Firstly, to the AFL and all the sponsors, thank you for putting on a great season again. To the City Swans, such a well-respected club. I'm sure you'll be up there next year. To our club, it's been an amazing ride. I just love being a part of it. To all the supporters, it's been a long time coming. We did it!
Congratulations, Jason. Of course, it's every young footballer's dream to be on this day, some Grand Final day. And we have 22 participants from the NAB AFL Auskick program who are now going to present the medallions to each player of the Western Bulldogs Football Club. And we start with number 4, Marcus Bontempelli.
Want to shake my hand? Good boy, you little cutie, this is yours.
Number 5, Matthew Boyd. Number 6, Luke Dalhouse. Number 7, Lockie Hunter. Number 9, Jake Stringer. Number 11, Jack McRae. Number 12, Zane Cordy. Number 14, Clay Smith. Number 16, Toby McLean. Number 17, Tom Boyd. Number 18, Fletcher Roberts. Number 20, Josh Dunkley. Number 21, Tom Liberatore. Number 23, Jordan Roughhead. Number 24, Shane Biggs. Number 29, Tory Dixon. Number 30, Joel Hamling. Number 35, Caleb Daniel.
Thanks, mate.
Number 38, Dale Morris. Number 39, Jason Johannesson. Number 42, Liam Picken. And the captain, number 10, Easton Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please welcome Australian Football Hall of Fame legend and four-time premiership coach Lee Matthews to present the Jock McHale Medal to the coach of the 2016 Toyota AFL Premiership team, Luke Beveridge of the Western Bulldogs Football Club.
to Mike Fitzpatrick, Gillon McLaughlin in the AFL. Thank you for an amazing year. Commiserations to the Swans. Took our very best. You're an unbelievable side. An enormous effort by our players, obviously. Thank you to the AFL's major sponsor, Toyota. Thank you to our major sponsor, Mission, to Victoria University, EML, BLK and WorkSafe. This group of players are just incredible. Their hearts are so big. We know how long you've waited for some success, and I really thought at half-time it's going to take something extra special, even though they've given their all already. Absolutely special. Also, a call out to all our support staff, especially all the people who put in so much work over a long period of time. Peter Gordon, our president. You deserve this as much as anyone. And to you, the fans, our supporters. It really was an amazing day yesterday. We all kind of felt like the Beatles, and you boosted our spirits. We've ridden on your wings, really, and our players couldn't have done any more. I think they're totally spent. Thank you very much. Before we go, I'd like to get Bob Murphy up on the stand. This is yours, mate. You deserve it more than anyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have much pleasure in inviting Australian Football Hall of Fame member, the Brownlow medalist of 1960, and a man who's nearly as excited, if not more excited, than this football team. Please welcome John Schultz to present the Premier's Cup to Easton Wood and Luke Beveridge and Bob Murphy.